Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another edition here of a StarCraft Evolution tournament, but this time a little bit different. Welcome back to SEL Doubles number 1, a brand new edition here of StarCraft Evolution tournaments, this time featuring 2v2. I'm of course just VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome one and all. It's been a bit of a messy day of StarCraft. I do apologize for those that weren't here earlier today. We were live with Code for Giants Cup. And alas, unfortunately, the internet went down. Towards the end in the grand finals, and we didn't get through it, unfortunately. Most likely, we're gonna have to reschedule that match for next week. So next week, we'll be wrapping up Code for Giants Cup and the grand finals between Eric and Master, leading into Code for Giants Cup LATAM edition. So that'll be the plan for next week's broadcast. Meanwhile, when it comes to this event as well, we're 40 minutes late, or half an hour late, I should say. Again, I'll be honest, I'm waiting for a call. It's pretty important, so I'm waiting for a phone call, and it was supposed to be 40 minutes ago, and still waiting, still waiting. So there's a very high chance that happens during the broadcast. When that does happen, I will have to pause. I'll have to cut to a break and take said call. But otherwise, I didn't want to wait too much longer, just because we've already been waiting 40 minutes. So the show must go on, baby. Show must go on. As we are jumping into our first series, jumping into the quarterfinals, it's going to be a 2v2 matchup here between Lambo Harsum and Zardian Deathmart. Bearing in mind, this isn't just 2v2, this is also 2v2 StarCraft Evolution. It is going to be played on the Evo Mod. Let's jump in. Let's jump into our fresh series. Let's jump into game 1. It's going to be on Reclamation. Let's go. From my understanding, I believe it is going to be incorporating 2v2 ladder maps, not custom Brood War 2v2 maps. I believe they have not been ported over, just as a heads up. Also, I'm gambling a little bit that the replays do work. I do know that's SC Evo. The thing with StarCraft Evolution is that they do have patches on a semi-regular basis, and because of that, they can kind of break their game modes and game mods a little bit. So hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully. Just catching up in the chat. Oh, buenos días, papi. Buenos días. As we are going to be jumping into our first series of the broadcast. Likewise, we're going to be featuring some of the other duos as well. We have ByuN and Solar teaming up. We have uThermal and Skills teaming up as well, which is an interesting pairing. I don't think I've seen uThermal and Nikita play together and join forces. And we have SHIN and Nightmare as well. So we do have some interesting pairings that are going to be showcased later on here in the broadcast. Yo, Este Polsky in the chat. Ah, Shema, Papi Shema. You were here this morning as well. Good morning, good morning. Buenos días, buenos días. But here we go. Again, this morning we did have a bit of a disruption when it came to the morning broadcast. Hopefully everything's okay here tonight. But as I mentioned, I'm waiting for a call, and there's a very high chance that I will have to pause the broadcast, especially in the first series. But regardless, here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. So bottom right-hand corner of Reclamation, we have our red Zerg player. We have our green Protoss. It is Harsum and Lambo. It is Team Harambo, baby. Let's go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the orange Protoss player. We have the Brood War Terran, the teal Terran. It is Zardiant and Deathmart. Let's go. Let us go quickly jumping into this. It is going to be the SC2 Protoss from Harsum. It is going to be the Brood War Zerg player from Lambo. I believe, yeah, Brood War Zerg. Likewise, it's going to be Brood War Terran from Zardiant and SC2 Protoss from Deathmart. So SC2 Protoss players all around. It is their teammates that are going to be playing the StarCraft 1 or the SC Evo variants instead. Okay. Now, when it comes to 2v2, I'll be honest, I haven't casted too much SC Evolution in 2v2. We did, of course, cover the show match previously with Milky Cow and Iosop up against their previous opponents as well, up against Zardiant, but we'll see how our players fare this time. Let's go, let's go. I believe it was Deathmart Zardiant versus Milky Cow and Iosop, if I recall correctly. So we have a little bit of experience. When it comes to regular 2v2s, I mean, we'll see how Zardiant does approach this. We have been seeing quite a bit of mech out of Zardiant as of late in StarCraft Evolution, so we're leaning more towards a factory and mech heavy composition from our Terran player. Took a power nap. Fair enough, Pappy. Fair enough. Aye, aye, aye. Crazy, Pappy. Crazy. Likewise, you have our standard opener here from Deathmars as well, going for a gate cyber expand. Oh, sorry, gate expanded cybercore. Likewise, oh, even a little bit greedy here out of Lambo. Lambo, I also know, does have limited experience, right? That's something that I should mention as well. Lambo, he does have limited experience when it comes to StarCraft Evolution. Hearthstone, I don't think has any experience. Like Hearthstone, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he has really competed in any StarCraft Evolution tournaments. So this 2v2 format, this 2v2 event, is a really nice way to kind of indoctrinate and kind of introduce people to StarCraft Evolution that otherwise wouldn't really be competing. Again, Lambo, he has had success in the past when it comes to SC Evo. Is dragging his friend Hearthstone into it. Meanwhile, Deathmars and Zardians are a lot more experienced. A lot more experience behind this, going double factory into mech. No surprises here. We did expect mech out of Zardians. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Stargate opener out of Deathmars. Adeptus Shade into main, gets one probe. Gets one worker so far. Sorry, I should say Deathmars does deal with the scouting probe. My apologies. That's okay. We're locking in. We're locking in. Adept does move out across the map, but meanwhile we have our take of choice, likewise Stargate. So Stargate versus Stargate out of our SC2 Protoss players. From here we should be amassing up in Phoenixes. That is the much more common start. Into Oracle Phoenix or just straight Phoenix production. There it is, it's going to be Oracle first out of Hearthstone. This is a really bold move considering he knows he's up against a Stargate. Oh, my apologies. I assumed that the probe scouted, but no, the probe didn't get in. Yeah, the probe scout was denied. There we go, Phoenix first out of Deathmars. Meanwhile, we have ion thrusters on the way for Zardians, getting into vulture speed, getting into mass mech. So building up into those vultures. Likewise, we do see Lambo going into Ling Hydra. Going into his Hydra heavy comp. I think what I'm most excited for when it comes to 2v2s is going to be the potential for spellcasters in the mid to late game, if we can get there. I will say one of the big issues when it comes to StarCraft Evolution is just how short games are and how many all-ins are dominant throughout the course of the meta in StarCraft Evolution. There's a lot of aggression, a lot of all-ins. But in 2v2, there's a higher chance that with the help of your teammate, you can actually help defend, build up into the mid-game, and force a longer game state and be able to incorporate some of these spellcasters that otherwise aren't really utilized. So I do look forward to it. But now, Spider Mines, again, more Vultures, more Mines. Second Stargate for Deathmars, massing up into Mass Phoenix. Meanwhile, ooh, we have Zardian going for a ground, sorry, we have Hearthstone going for a ground switch. Bold move, bold move. So he opens that Oracle into Twilight Council, into Blink. So making that switch into Blink Stalkers. It's going to be a ground heavy composition here from Team Shopify. From Hearthstone and Lambo. Meanwhile, Vultures are sharking around, setting up their minefields. Going for the dive even. Getting into the mineral line. Probe's going to be going down. They're getting 1, 2, 3, 4 probe kills. Not bad. Ooh, Stasis Trap goes off. Hydra's a zone with the Phoenixes. So far, decent run by, but now the Vultures are trapped. Yeah, Vultures are trapped. More workers going down. So far, getting 8 probe kills. Again, not a bad amount of workers going down, but Hearthstone, I mean, the Zerg Protoss army, they're going to be able to catch Zardians. Up. They shut him down. Heavy losses for Zardians. Thankfully, he was able to at least throw down the minefield earlier. Speaking of. Oh, the splits. Losing one Hydra so far. Does split. Does lose a second Hydra. Nice baits here from Lambo. Very nice baits. Bearing in mind that the way Spider Mines work is that they do unburrow first. So with high enough DPS, you can kill them before they connect. Can snipe their Spider Mines. Hydras, they make their way across the map. Again, it's still only Vulture production. No tanks, only one. Just the one tank. And a Hydra heavy composition should break this, by the way. Phoenixes, what are they going to do? Lift up one Hydra at a time? There's only one tank. You're only one tank. Starter steps forward. Boys are being pulled. Ooh, one Spider-Mine connects. Massive connection. But just one. Yeah, only the one Spider-Mine. And with that, I was praising. I was like, yo, the potential mid-game play is there in 2v2. Not this game. All the boys are being pulled. Heavy losses here for Deathmars and Zardians. Again, this all comes down to losing all those Vultures. Losing those Vultures means you lose map control. That triggers a counterattack. And back at home, there's barely a defense. It's going to be 23 probe kills for Deathmars, 10 SCVs for Zardians. Again, heavy losses. We have one tank coming out. Lambo does attempt to dive. Tanks, they hold their own. Tanks, they hold their own. So far defending the ramp. Does hold, does defend. Lambo and Guardian going to be zoned away. And they are holding on. Again, the tank count is getting higher and higher. We're holding so far. But we're stuck on 2 bases. From here, Lambo getting a 4th. Getting a 5th expansion. Likewise, Harsum getting his own 3rd. They're gaining map control. Mass expanding. And can look to max out. Lair is now on the way. Upgrades on the horizon as well. Oh, it's going to be difficult to expand. Yeah, there's no shot they can take a 3rd. Not like this. As a CC may even just get killed. Oh, God. Oh, no. CC burns down. Again, Guardian cannot expand. Neither can Death Mars. We're now setting up at the low ground, but this area is just so open. So open, so accessible. Death Mars does try to get across the map. He gets punished. Losing 1. Losing just the 1 Phoenix so far. Plus into the mineral line. There's no safety cannons. And there are cannons, but another Phoenix goes down. Harsum has been bullied this game. Non-stop harassment, but in the end, they're still building up. They can still afford these losses. They can still afford it. The drone count's actually quite low. Yeah, only 63 drones here for Lambo. The low worker count makes sense for Harsum just because he lost so many probes throughout the course of this game. That does make sense, but yeah, Lambo hasn't been able to drone up too heavily yet. Yeah, droning has been a little bit lackluster. Now saturating. Setup has been revealed. We have our tank line. And we can see Death Mars switching into Skytels. Oh, I say switching into Skytels. Fleet Beacon is on the way that will help with more Phoenixes and eventually into carrier production. Eventually. So it's going to be Mech and Skytels. From the side of Lambo, he would benefit from... I said Devours. Defilers, that's it. I was trying to think of the word. But Defilers can help quite immensely here when it comes to Dark Swarm. You can Dark Swarm and try to break through these siege lines. For now, they're taking up into Lurkers. Queen's Nest is done. Hive is on the way. The other option, of course, is getting into Queen production, but that's going to be difficult with all these Phoenixes, as Queens will be very vulnerable. But the alternative to Dark Swarm would be for Queens to move in and then just Parasite. Is that the right terminology, actually? Guys, no, sorry, Spawn Broodlings, that's it. I always mix up the name of the spell Parasite and Spawn Broodling. In my mind, it's like the same thing. Obviously, Parasite is like Revelation. It's for Vision. But Spawn Broodlings would be your way to try to break through this if there weren't so many Phoenixes. And here comes the Defiler Mount. Yeah, Defiler Mount is on the way. Working towards Defilers. From the side of our green Protoss player, I would imagine we should be working towards Skytels. Yeah, +1 air attack is on the way into a Fleet Beacon into Tempest production. That'd be what would make the most sense. Or carriers. Harsum working on it. But now Mass Stalker. We're going into Ultras? Okay. Should be Ultra Defiler. Interesting. I mean, hey, that'd be a way to do it. Would be a way to do it. Carrier production has begun for Death Mars. I mean, hey, they've established that low ground, the center expansions. They're looking to max out. Are getting there. Consume is being researched. Tank lines are spreading. I can already imagine Lambo being like, yo, why can't I make Vipers? Smurge, baby, smurge. As here comes that Skytrail transition, Fleet Beacon, another Stargate for Hearthstone. Another Stargate, Fleet Beacon. You know, we have 8 Defilers on the way. And again, it feels like the goal here should be to go for the Dark Swarm and to try to break through the siege line with Ultras. It would make the most sense, but we'll see. I'll be honest, I have not seen that visual before. I think that's a new one. And it shows just how we just barely often get to see spellcasters in SE Evolution. Defilers even. So here we go, Death Mars Zardian, they're moving in. Laying siege on the bases. Lambo, he does counterattack. Oof. Okay, moves that across the map. Does hit the third. At the same time, Zardians and Death Mars, they are gaining ground. They've got a lot of hatcheries to work through. Defilers are staying back. Ultra production has begun. And we have now Tempest slowly amassing for Hearthstone. Again, Tempest, they're going to be superior to Carrier. Tempest, they are the more efficient units. I would say that our Skytos mech team here, they're on a bit of a timer. They got to keep going. That's the first Dark Swarm. Not really impacting too much here. Maybe testing out the spell. Hydras are being cleaned up. Nice clean up here with the Mass Phoenix. Death Mars shuts him down. Oof. There's the Dark Swarm. Protecting the Stalkers. Red X back. Has the mech armies rotating. Knocking down an expansion. There's barely any tanks here with us though. It's mainly Vulture. Going for the Plague. And Plague does connect. Dark Swarm not really too impactful. Defilers are being hunted down. Yeah, no Defilers. No Defilers left. Death Mars Zardian moving in. Can they get on top of the Tempest? There's not that many carriers, so yeah, there's not that many. As we mentioned before, Tempest are superior to Carrier in almost every way. They shut down the carriers. Phoenixes are going for the dive. He dives in. Can he bring them down? He gets one. He gets one. Nah, not even. Oh, he looks like, nah, he breaks through. Yeah, he breaks through. Again, it's only Hearthstone left over. We do see Lambo has nothing. Lambo, he has nothing left. Lambo's been broken. Hearthstone holding on with what little he has. He's trying to 1v2. Yo, he's choosing to hang in there. But there we go. GG gets called. Death Mars and Zardian, they claim game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. And again, it does feel like Lambo had a bit of a hard time transitioning in this game. We did mention that Lambo had a very low drone count. It took him a long time to drone up despite having map control, right? Lambo, he had map control, so did Hearthstone of course as well. It made sense that Hearthstone's worker count was low because it was taking so many losses, but Lambo, likewise, he had a really hard time droning up and saturating. I say hard time droning and saturating. I think we mentioned previously that that Lambo doesn't really have a lot of experience in StarCraft Evolution. I do think that the macro here, the differential when it comes to how many hatcheries and macro hatcheries that are required did kind of catch up with him. I will say that most likely he was having a larva issue. We saw a bunch of hatcheries towards the end of the game, but it is very standard to basically have 2 hatcheries at base, right? Once you get your natural, your third up and running, you do typically once, 1, 2, 3 macro hatcheries alongside that, and that was lacking for Lambo. So he was having a larva issue, was having a droning issue, was having a macro issue overall. So Lambo, he was struggling when it comes to the macro. Likewise, Hearthstone was taking a lot of economic losses. They did a great job when it came to containing their opponents on 2 bases initially, but they failed to deny the third, and they failed to macro up out of that as well. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into game number 2. Going to be loading into Undercurrent. Zardians and Death Mars are up 1-0 in the series, and can they close it out here and now? Can Hearthstone and Lambo recover in game 2? Let's go. But again, I feel like this, again, shows some of the inexperience of Lambo when it comes to StarCraft Evolution. We'll see if he can keep up and catch up on the fly. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Undercurrents, we have the... we have the red Zerg player. We have the SC2 Zerg representing Shopify. Likewise, we have the green Protoss player, also SC2 Protoss. It is Lambo and Hearthstone. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have our double Brood War team. Okay, so double SC2 versus double Brood War. We have the Brood War Terran, we have the Brood War Protoss. It is Death Mars and Zardians. Hold on, I need to look up the rule set here. How's this work? Okay. So the rules here for SEL Doubles. Game 1 is Brood War plus SC2 versus Brood War plus SC2. So you're forced to have one of your partners play Brood War in Game 1. Okay. Rating maps is determined by the losing team of the previous map. So if losing team selects Brood War, the winning team must play SC2, SC2. Losing team plays... Okay. So, looking at the rule set here, because Hearthstone and Lambo lost game 1, they could choose and they could force double Brood War out of their opponents as they play double SC2. So, coming into this, Lambo and Hearthstone will have the advantage, as they do have that SC2 advantage over their opponents. They're a little more well-versed, they're a little more experienced, of course, when it comes to StarCraft 2. Again, they're forcing the double Brood War out of Death Mars and Zardians. Interesting. It's interesting that that's an option in this tournament, as we are going for the gas deal. What I mean by that is very often in StarCraft Evolution events, you're forced to have a pairing and like a duality of Brood War and SC2. But here in StarCraft Evolution Doubles, they allow you to have they allow you to double up like this. They allow you to double up, which I feel like is a little bit unfair. But sure. Like that's a big advantage for the losing team. That's huge. Well, there you go. From here we're going to be opening up. It is going to be a robot opener into a bay for Death Mars, in towards a shuttle drop. Sorry, a Reaver drop, I should say. So we're opening a Reaver drop, which is the standard, the go-to in Brood War Protoss. Meanwhile, we do have a hidden academy here. Okay, so we saw mech out of Zardians in game 1, but here in game 2, it is going to be an early stim timing. So 3x stim timing out of Zardians. Early stim, early bio. And of course, said Reaver drop out of our Protoss player. Meanwhile, across the map, it is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Hearthstone. Opening on Twilight Council. Lambert does go hatch gas pull into a standard opener. He pulls out of gas, just droning. Just droning, playing standard, playing as you should. I'm sure he's breathing easily, and now that he can inject, he's like, oh, thank God. I can actually macro pop. I can actually inject. True. ST36. You know, we have our upgrades. I believe that is going to be a shuttle speed on the way. Double adept into the main. Getting 1, 2, 3 probe kills. And not bad. 3 workers going down. Attempts to shade away. And gets a full scout. Does confirm the 3-axe, so with that, they're fully aware that the sim timing is coming. We have 5 bats in the mix as well. Let's go. Do love to see it. And Death Mars and Zardians, they are coming. So here we go. We have our mass buy. We have a couple of fire bats. We have a couple of medics as well. Reaver drop is coming in. Does get spotted. Uh-oh. It's going to be chased down. Scarab truck going up. Takes down one of the stalkers. Gets 1. Gets 2. Nice pickups. Oh no, the shuttle! No! Okay. Doesn't overextend. Stalkers, they collapse on the shuttle. Shuttle getting very low. Scarab shot on Zerglings. And Marines are going down. Yeah, picking up the Marines one after the other. Slowing down this push. Once again, the Stalkers, he wants that shuttle. Oh, the blink control. Avoids the Scarab shot, not bad. Does blink, does avoid. And with that, Zardi and Deathmars are running out of steam. They're running out of steam. They get fully surrounded. The shuttle goes down. A massive pickup. And with that, they'll just completely get surrounded. They get shut down. They get cleaned up. And now it's go time. Harsam and Lambo, they've gained map control. They're moving out across the map. Behind this, Harsam has plenty of bases, plenty of expansions. He's got the larva. Lair is on the way alongside +1, going into what looks to be Ling Hydra. But so far, it has been a shaky start here for Deathmars and Zardians. They have one defensive Reaver. Once again, we do avoid the shot. Nice control out of Harsam. So far, nice control. Getting both players stuck on 2 bases. And this time, Harsam and Lambo should have an easier time when it comes to maintaining map control, expanding, building up their economies, and getting further ahead. As I mentioned previously, it did feel like Lambo had a hard time macroing in that last game, but here it should be a lot more comfortable. Shot to the face. Behind the Spire is on the way. Okay, so I assume Lambo is going to go into Hydra play, but no, he's going into Mutas. Bold move. Going into the Mutas. That Scarab shot doesn't quite connect. Mining is being denied. And they cannot mine from that third. Oof. Cannot quite mine. Zardi just getting bullied as we're trying to hunt down those Stalkers. Dragoons are moving in. Oof, jeez. The Scarab shots back. Yeah. Crazy. They try to catch him out, but last Harsam does kite well. Blinks in. Uh-oh. Yeah, he gets punished. Crazy blink forward there out of Harsam. Bleeding out a lot of Stalkers. From here, gonna have to pull away. Lings just try to reinforce. Scarab shots, they punish the Zerglings. Oh my god. That's a lot of Lings going down. And with that, the gold is getting up. The gold is getting up and running soon. Deathmars can also expand as well. Deathmars Zardi, they're recovering. They're getting there. But what I'm most concerned by here are the Mutas. The Mutas have yet to be revealed. They're coming. The Mutas back. Stalkers, they collapse in. And trading well, picking up more Marines. The Dragoons are able to at least hold their own, but again, the Terran army is being whittled away at. And there's barely any bio. Oh my, how far do we have to go? Oh my god. The Scarab shots by me, they're crazy. Defensive DT here for Harsam. Takes down the tank, no scan. Yo, where are the scans? Do we not have any? Okay, we do. Okay, we have some conversation. There we go. It does have a scan. Bailey's gonna roll in. They collapse on the Dragoons. Diving on top of the tanks and GG. GG gets called. Harsam and Lambo, they do type the series 1-1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. They tie the series up. Oh, there we go. And again, Hearthstone and Lambo looking a lot more comfortable here with SC2. With their SC2 race, of course. They're able to hold, able to defend, able to contain their opponents even, have some better engagements, have some better fights, and just collapse here on both Zardians and Deathmars. Deathmars did build up a pretty solid composition. Zardian, though, he was struggling to build up his army. He was bleeding out so many Marines throughout the course of that entire game. Did struggle there, and with that, we're now getting into the ace match. Loading into game 3, you're going to be loading into New Bed of Chaos. Let's go. Let us go. This map, of course, does have a shared main, a shared natural as well. A higher chance we can hold on when it comes to early game aggression, and now it's up to Deathmars and Zardian to pick and choose. Remember, it is loser's pick. What do they go for exactly? Let's go. And spawning in... it's a pairing. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of New Bed of Chaos, we have the German Zerg player, we have the green Protoss from the land of the Netherlands, we have our Shopify team, it is a Lambo and Hearthstone. Playing SE2 Protoss and a Brood War Zerg. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the SE2 Protoss player, we have the Brood War Terran, it is Zardiant and Deathmars. Here we go. Here we go. We're getting into the ace match here. We're getting into that final game of the series. And stepping into this, we'll see how Lambo will adjust. Hello. As Lambo does come in for a drone scout, for a hatch block. Interesting. Does open up hatch first. Hatch first opener. Drone is moving out. No shot, we're just scouting. Imagining it's going to be a little bit more sinister than that. Keeping that drone hidden. CC is scouted on the low ground. Does go for the hatch block on the right hand side. What is this? What is this CC? I might create... Like, there was no probe block. What? Why is it off center? Am I crazy? Wait, what? I see. Okay. Because it's off center, it allows Deathmars to expand. Like, sorry, it allows Deathmars to pick and choose where he wants to expand, and then Zardian can just float over. Okay. It's interesting. I've never seen that before, I'll be honest. But that was like very intentional placement out of Zardian. Very, very intentional. When it came to a CC. Do we just let this finish? No shot. Bunker's on the way. So we are building up. It is going to be a Stargate opener out of Deathmars. Meanwhile, we still have yet to go for our tech of choice here for Hearthstone. Chronoing out Warp Gate. Hatchery does complete. Bunker is finishing. It is going to be mech out of Zardiant. Going into Double Factory, into Mass Vulture once again. He's building up his Vultures. And Lambo's all in. Yeah, Lambo's going for the all-in. He has 10 Lings on the way. We have 2 more gateways here out of Hearthstone. So again, Hearthstone, he chooses to go for a 3-gate follow-up. No Twilight Council, no Robo, no Stargate, no tech, just purely Stalkers. Just pure Stalkers are rallying across the map. Hyper-aggression out of Team Shopify. Caramba, they're coming. And they should recognize it. They should notice the additional gateways. We ideally would have extra bunkers or an extra defensive setup here. We're both mining from the same natural. Like, what? What is happening right now? What is going on? Okay. I mean, obviously they can't expand here on the right-hand side. But I don't think I've ever seen this before, where 2 teammates are right next to each other. They're just I guess Stalkers, they just bypass the bunker, make their way in. Spider Mines are not yet done. Yeah, Spider Mine's still being researched. Does lift one of the Stalkers, but there's still too many. Yeah, too many Stalkers. Alien Vulture is going to be going down one after the other. And Lambo and Hearthstone, they're breaking through. They're breaking that natural. Bunker's going to be shut down as well. Yeah, diving on the bunker, getting a full surround. And there's nothing. There's just nothing here. Even the tank, remember, there's no siege mode. Yeah, there's no siege mode. The boys are being pulled. Low ground is evacuated. That's a lot of SCVs going down. Yeah, an insane amount of workers here. Lambo and Harsum, they overwhelm. They break into the main. They're getting on top of the tanks as well. The tanks are exposed. He gets one. He gets two. And both tanks go down. And with that, they've done it. Harsum and Lambo, they have done it. They've broken through. They bust into the main. More boys are being pulled. Desperation out of Sardians. Desperation out of both players. That's all they can do. Just pull the boys. Again, the Void Rage is just too far away. Vultures as well. They cannot hold their own. Not like this. Lings are still rallying in. Yeah, they rally into the bases. Nice kiting here from Harsum. Some spider mines are set up. Ooh, one mine connects. One connection. It's still not enough, Pappy. Oh god, there are so many links. So many Zerglings. And they break into the mineral line. More probes going down. There's no SCVs remaining. And GG gets called. GG gets called. Harsum and Lambo, they will claim the series 2-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Harsum and Lambo, they will claim the series. Again, they might be a little bit inexperienced when it comes to StarCraft Evolution, but they can still all in, Pappy. Let's go. Able to pull it off, able to pull a fast one over on their opponents, and with that, congratulations, Guardians and Death Mars, who I would have said were the favorites in this series. They get knocked down, they get knocked out, and with that, we do have our upcoming match. Up next, we're going to be following Lambo and Harsum into the semi-finals. Let's go. Let us go. Now, for this event, they do have, again, a unique format. They have a unique format here. They have instead best of fives. They have best of fives in the semis. Let's go. It's going to be best of five between Harsum and Lambo versus Solar and ByuN. Again, Solar and ByuN, they have a lot more experience when it comes to StarCraft Evolution. ByuN, I would say, is the best Terran player in SE Evo. Likewise, Solar is the best Zerg player in StarCraft Evolution. But this is 2v2s, right? 2v2s, the meta is a little bit different. The dynamic is very different as well. So we'll see how our players do adjust in that 2v2 format. Let's go. Where I would say that Lambo and Harsum have a lot more 2v2 experience together. True, true. A lot more 2v2 experience. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Rust Buckets, we have the German Zerg player, the Red Zerg, the Brood War Zerg, alongside his SC2 teammate counterpart, the SC2 Brodos. It is Lambo and Harsum. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the Brood War Zerg player, we have the SC2 Terran. It is ByuN and Solar. The Shopify team kill. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, it is going to be that Shopify team kill. As our players are building up. We are building up. Going to be a hatch first opener here out of Solar. Likewise, we're setting up for what looks to be a Rax expand out of ByuN as well. And we'll see. Again, I haven't really been able to catch too much of Solar's StarCraft Evolution. He's been playing in a lot of the Korean and Chinese events. Curious to see how he does perform here. As welcome to Rust Bucket. Rust Bucket does have a pocket expansion for Solar. They have a shared low ground area as well for the natural for the third base. There's also another, I was going to say pocket area here. We do have another kind of more defendable location which does open up by knocking down those rocks. In general, Solar should be a lot more comfortable. It's going to be ByuN that's going to be fighting for his expansions. I can say the same for Harsum. Harsum also going to be fighting for his own third, as Lambo does take his expansions. A bit of a differential here. Lambo does expand forward first. Meanwhile, Solar did prioritize his pocket base. Outside of that, we're settling in. Gonna be settling in. Very fast Evo Chamber out of Solar. Okay. Rushing into Evo Chamber first. Meanwhile, we have Lambo rushing into the lair first. Okay. So faster lair out of Lambo. With the faster lair, this could be indicative of Muta play. That would make the most sense. Bearing in mind that you do not need a lair for Hydra production. So we're leaning more towards Mutas here. Reaper breaks in, Reaper pulls away. Meanwhile, Solar, he is going into and rushing into +1 range. So +1 range is on the way alongside Hydra production. So we're going for a +1 range timing attack here. Again, very fast upgrades, very strong timing here for Solar. And this is all going to be on hashtag. Bearing in mind, you do not need a lair for Hydra production, or even with the Hydra upgrades either. It can all begin. Meanwhile, we do have a 2-on-1 out of ByuN, no third CC. This also kind of goes in line with what we were mentioning earlier, how Solo's going for a very strong +1 timing. Likewise, ByuN is going for a late third expansion, going for a strong sim timing as well. So it looks like we're being hyper aggressive. Hyper aggression, there's a starport for the eventual medevacs. Meanwhile, we did read Lambo's build as Muta play, and there it is, there is the Spire. Again, fast lair, screams Mutas. But this is going to be risky. Mutas are ideal when it comes to harassing, they're not ideal when it comes to defending. They're very fragile units. From Harsum, Stargate open to harass, Oracle perks in, the Oracle is deflected. Yeah, Hydras, they come out in time. Oracle does not scout the Evo chamber. Yeah, fails to scout. Now, there's a bit of a tell here. Harsum should notice, no lair, right? There's no lair in the main, there's no lair at the forward base. There could be a lair in the natural, he has to scout. He has to scout, he has to confirm. If there's no lair, that is indicative of an all-in. Even here, it does confirm the lack of drones. Lack of drones, lack of saturation. Harsum, he's reading for the most part that aggression is coming. Spine crawlers, good call. Yeah, we have all the cannons, shield batteries, spore crawlers, sorry, sunken colonies as well. They don't. So good read. Here comes the all-in. It's gonna be mass marine Hydra. The all-in is coming. They double orc into the mineral line. Gets 1, 2, 3 drones, a nice damage. And it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing, but we're running into a wall of static defense. Yeah, the sunken colonies, they punish. Okay, very nice wall here. I mean, the meters will help a little bit. But mainly the colonies. Across the map, every drone is going down. Again, forcing the all-in. It's all or nothing, he commits. Yeah, he does commit in. Mutas, they tank some shots. 1, 2, 3 sunken colonies going to be going down. They're buying time, and they're tanking. And with that, they hold. Yeah, Harsum and Lambo, they hold. They shut down the army. They shut down the all-in. Again, thankfully, they did scout. So Harsum did recognize what was happening, did recognize the lack of workers, lack of lair, and they took it very seriously. And GG gets called. The all-in fails, and with that, Lambo and Harsum claim game number 1. Whew. GG, well played. They will claim the first game. They take a lead in the series. Again, a very decisive build here from Solar and ByuN. But remember, they got scouted. They got scouted. A solid reaction here from Harsum and Lambo. They shut down the all-in, and with that, they take a lead in the series. Now, what I'm most curious by, now it is loser's pick. Solar and ByuN, what do they force out of their opponents? Let's go. Let us go. As we are loading into new bed of chaos. We are going to be loading in and spawning in the top left-hand corner of a new bit of chaos. We have the red Zerg player. We have the orange Protoss. Oh, okay. We're going to be having a bit of a duo once again. It's going to be the SC2 Zerg. We have the brutal Protoss. We have Lambo and Hearthstone. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the StarCraft. We have the Brood War. The Brood War Terran. We have the Brood War Terran. We have the SC2 Zerg. We have Solar and ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. So Solo and ByuN, because they lost game 1, they had the choice. They had the choice here to... it was up to them to make the decision whether or not they wanted to go into double SE2 or not. And it looks like they chose to stick with the kind of like the duo setup here of Brood War and SE2. Oh, and we're going for the cheese. We're going for the proxy. Okay. Harsum moves that immediately here. Meanwhile, it is going to be a hatch first build out of Lambo. Is going to be, I would imagine, hatch gas pool, but we'll keep an eye on the pool timing. Yep, there we go. Hatch gas pool out of Lambo. Harsum does take some gases back at home, but he's going for the proxy 2 gate. Proxy 2 gate, a double zealot into, I would imagine, Dragoon once we get the Cybercore up and running. We'll see. We'll see how aggressive Harsum can be. Eyes are on Harsum. Meanwhile, we have a 3x build here by ByuN, going for 3x stim. Very aggressive build here out of our Terran player. This should be leading into the academy, into the early sim timing. Zealots are on the way. And I believe so far there's been no scouts. Yeah, just the Overlord scout, so no worker scout here. As a result of that, ByuN and Solo have no idea that the gateways are missing. There's that Cybercore, so we can go double Zealot into Dragoon production eventually once the Cybercore is done. But now we're banking those Zealots. They're being banked up. They are being banked. The Overlord Scout does confirm the lack of gateways, so they should somewhat be aware that something's going on. And here comes the all-in. It's going to be a Bane Bus, actually. Okay, so Bane Bus out of Lambo. Link speed is still a ways away. At this point, ByuN and Solo are 100% aware of the all-in. They're aware as to what's going on. Defensive alienness here for Solar. Marines are amassing. This is already going to be a mass marine built here by ByuN. But I'll be honest, without a factory, without vultures, without tanks, it's going to be a tough hold. We have Ling marine defense here. It's a very fragile army, and there's not a lot of DPS, not without Sim. So Lambo and Harsum, they can pull this off. They can pull this off. They bully back the Lings. Bailing's rolling in. One gets started down. Nice target firing. It's focusing on another Bailing. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, up to 4, up to 5 Bailings go down. Very nice target firing here out of ByuN. Lings, they collapse in. 0 Bailing connections. Yeah, 0 connections so far. ByuN and Solo, they're defending well. ByuN has some crazy target firing. You know, we have defensive Bailings for Solo. They're being focused on by the Dragoons. Boys are being pulled. Marines are being bullied back. Again, the Dragoons, they just get so much free damage, getting a Queen as well. Catching out a Queen. Oh. And this don't quite connect. But again, Harsum and Lambo, they're still all in. There's still no drones, no saturation. It's still all or nothing. The entrance is opened up. And they'll sim in. He steps in. Ooh, 1 Bailing connects. A brutal connection. As a Dragoon does fall. And actually, we see Harsum transitioning. Yeah, Harsum is getting a third. He's getting a third base. He's macroing out of this. Lambo is not, by the way. Lambo, he's still not droning. He still has no drones, no saturation. I'm a little bit concerned here as to Lambo's decision. Sorry, Harsum's decision. To start to transition. It feels like that Lambo and Hearthstone are not on the same page. And now he starts the drone. Yeah, so late though. Late drones, late saturation. I mean, ByuN's drone count has been very, Solar's drone count has been very low as well, to be fair. But still higher than that of Lambo. So again, does focus on one Dragoon. Dragoons are so tanky. They tank so many shots. First factory is now on the way. That should be for tank production. Factory is coming. Solar trying to engage. Waiting to roll in. They trade. And someone trade. It was going to be the Twin Archives for the DT. Get spotted. Nice scan. Solar bleeding out far too much though. Losing so many banelings. That's a lot of banelings going down. ByuN steps in. Yeah, ByuN sims, he blows back the banelings. Catching out a couple of overlords. Oof. An overall better trade for ByuN. I say that though, he's putting out too many Marines. The Marines. They're being chased down. Forced back to the natural. And where exactly are we? Okay, so as the dust settles here, Solar still 17 drones. Drones have been going down. DT gets into the mineral line. Yeah, DT gets in. Crazy damage from the Dark Templar. 5 drone kills. Solar, he has no economy. Yeah, minimal workers, minimal drones. Solar, he's now all in. Okay, Hearthstone's base is exposed. Okay. Mining is being denied. I'll be able to engage. Mainly's they attempt to zone. ByuN has arrived as well. Nice catch here on the Dragoons. Yeah, it's all the Dragoons being locked down. Hearthstone, he's abandoned. He's on his own. He's on his own, but we're gonna lose everything. Every Dragoon will fall. A mineral line as well. And they've done it. Yeah, ByuN and Solar, they have done it. They catch out Lambo completely. Solar's now on his own. I meant to say Lambo. God damn it. Lambo's on his own. Solar moving in. Just waiting for the buy, waiting for the Marines. And Hearthstone cannot build up. Not anymore. He can't build back up. And again, it felt a little bit weird here that, like, it felt like Hearthstone was macroing, whereas Lambo was committing to the all-in. It felt like a little bit of an indecision. Spain is being focused down. The final queen will fall. Final queen falls. And with that, Hearthstone has been broken. He loses the economy, the workers, the army as well. GG gets called, and ByuN and Solar, they take game number 2, tying up the series. GG. GG, well played. We have a back and forth. We have a series here, and the question becomes, Lambo and Hearthstone, what do they pick? It's up to them. It's up to it is going to be their pick here with how they approach this. And I imagine they're going to be going double SC2. Like double StarCraft 2 would make the most sense here. Let's go. Let us go. As we're jumping into game number 3, we're tied up 1-1, but this is a best of 5. Bear that in mind. Plenty more games ahead of us, plenty more games to come. Let's go. We're spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Yellow Jacket. We have the yellow SC2 Protoss alongside the red SC2 Zerg. No surprises here. It is Lambo and Hearthstone. Double StarCraft 2, and spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the double Brood War team. We have the teal Terran, we have the blue Zerg. It is Solar and ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. Again, it is going to be Brood War versus SC2. I will say that Lambo and Hearthstone do have the advantage coming into this, as they are a little more experienced, a little more well-versed with their SC2 counterparts, and should be a little more comfortable coming into game number 3. A little more comfortable. Likewise, I would say that ByuN and Solar are a little bit more limited when it comes to their options and when it comes to how they want to build up. I will see how they approach this. We'll see if ByuN goes into mech or goes into bio. We shall see. So players are building up. Double racks here by ByuN. So we have confirmation it is going to be bio. So 3-racks opener, 3-racks stim. Same build, 2 games in a row. Same build out of ByuN. Going into early academy, early stim, early marines, and early medics. Meanwhile, we have Solar getting his macro hatchery up and running. So hatch gas pool, hatch here by Solar. And we'll see if Solar is able to meet ByuN when it comes to his aggression, right? This should be leading into a stim timing, and I would imagine that Solar wants to join him. I would imagine. I see Taskmaster in the chat. Wait, so this is StarCraft 1? This is StarCraft Evolution. SC Evo. So the way this works here is that, as you can see, we have both Hearthstone and Lambo playing the SC2 races, and we have both ByuN and Solar playing their Brood War races. So it's Brood War versus SC2 in 2v2. If you were looking at the previous game, we actually had a pairing of the two, where Solar was playing SC2 Zerg and ByuN was playing Brood War Terran together. But specifically for this game, game number 3, they're forced to play double Brood War. Because it's loser's pick. So Lambo and Hearthstone, they chose to pick double SC2. So they picked double SC2, which means they force double Brood War. And if they shed into the bases. 2 shed in. And they're going to be shut down. At least one of them should. No, never mind. They both get away. Oh my god. Yeah, they come into the shade, into the mineral line, getting 1, 2, up to 3 drones. Yeah, 3 drone kills already. We get 4. Oh, 3.5. 3.5 workers. Decent damage here by Hearthstone. Behind this, Hearthstone staying on 1 base, going for a very late expand. He went for a 2-gate opener into a Stargate, into a very late Nexus. Oh, that's a little bit concerning. This is concerning here for Hearthstone, bearing in mind that the stim timing is coming. Remember, stim is what, more than halfway done for ByuN. Oracle does hit the main, does punish. Jesus, Solo losing so many drones. Solo bleeding out 9 drones so far, bleeding out 10. Yeah, 10 drones going down, 11, 12, critical damage. I mean, they were already going all in, now it's even more all in. So Solar and ByuN, they're completely all in. Solar's economy is crippled, Hydras are amassing, and the army should soon be pushing across the map. Now, when it comes to the defense here, Hearthstone has very little to work with. Again, Hearthstone's natural is so late, so delayed, so his economy is delayed. His tech here is in abundance, so he has too much tech going into a Twilight Council as well. Here comes ByuN. ByuN is pushing. ByuN does threaten the push. Station Trap is baited. But ByuN turns back around. He did scan. He did see the army here. And ByuN doesn't feel caught down. Solar! Solar gets caught out, gets surrounded. All the links go down. And Solar, he's re-droning. Oof. It's going to take a long time to recover economically here. ByuN still has a presence on the map. But Solar, he's attempting a macro. Does attempt. Lings hit the 3rd. Oh, cashing out Hydras actually not bad. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 Hydras going down. Oh, sorry, up to 3. 3 Hydras. Lings that catch out some drones. Solar trying to keep up. But again, he's just lost so much economy throughout the course of this game. Solar too far behind. And ByuN couldn't push out by himself. He could not 1v2. Couldn't do it on his own. Solo's just been bullied this entire game. Behind this now, Hearthstone is finally building up. Remember, Hearthstone had a very shaky early game himself, but now has solidified himself on 2 bases into Mass Blink Stalker. So we have our Mass Blink alongside Ling Bane. ByuN now switching into tank production. Is there a world where Solo does recover? Not like this. No, the Hydras. Yes, Solo, he's caught out in the open, bleeding out every single Hydra. Ay, ay, ay. Solo, what are we doing out here? What are we doing? Yeah, Solo caught with his pants down. Hatchery will fall. And Solo's going to get surrounded as well. That does not get away. Bleeds out 2 more Hydras. Lings, they flood in. They try to. Unable to get off the ramp. Settling for the expansion. Oof. Meanwhile, decent target firing there by ByuN. And decent engage. Can he 1v2? Can he do it on his own? Can he pull this off? Siege mode is researched. Would you have a couple of supportive Hydras? Handful of them. Lings, they do go for another counterattack, catching our reinforcements. Getting on top of the tank. Hearthstone slowing this down. Just picking away at the army. It does try to pick away. Tank is pushing in. Hold it over though. It never catches the tank. Tank goes down. We have more disruptors on the way. And plenty of Ling Bane. And now there is no bathing speed though. Yeah, no bathing speed. We're trying to lure the army further in. And soon it'll be go time. Yeah, soon he will pull the trigger. Lambert waiting for his moment. Does commit. Does go for the dive. Oh my god. Banelings just shut down the Hydras. ByuN, there's no way out. Massive connections. And ByuN, he will lose everything. He'll lose his entire army here. That's all that he had left. Again, they were completely all in. And GG gets called. GG gets called with that Hearthstone and Lambert. They take a 2-1 lead in the series. As ByuN is... yeah, he doesn't want to tap out, Bappy. He's like, yo, I ain't heard no bell. Let's keep going, Bappy. Keep going. God, no. The copium, Bappy. There we go. GG gets called. GG gets called. And Hearthstone and Lambert take a lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Winding it back here again, Solo was bullied. Solo, he was bullied the entire game, losing worker after worker after worker to the Oracle harass, to the Adept harass as well, to Ling Ram buys. Solo just could not build up into a macro game, couldn't build up into the mid game, and couldn't support his teammates when it came to the all-in either, when it came to the stim timing. Like Solo, he was just bullied and targeted the entire game, and with that he was down and out. ByuN was on his own, and there's only so much you can do on your own. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're now going into game number 4. We'll see if Solar and ByuN can recover, as it is their pick. It's now going to be their pick here when it comes to what races to play. Let's see. Here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner. Oh, we have a duo once again. Okay, we have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself, the German Zerg, the Brood War Zerg, alongside the SC2 Protoss. It is Hearthstone and Lambert. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the Brood War Terran player. We have the SC2 Zerg. It is Solar and ByuN. And this is surprising. This is surprising here that both ByuN and Solar are choosing not to double up on SE2. They had the choice to do so. They had Lucer's pick. It was Lucer's pick. They chose not to pair up. They chose not to force the double Brood War. I would say that would be a huge advantage for Solar and ByuN. Hearthstone and Lambert have shown throughout the course of this broadcast that they are unfamiliar when it comes to the Brood War side of things. So that's where things can work quite well for ByuN and Solar, but yeah, they're holding on to it. They're giving their opponents a chance, Bappy. True, true. Giving them a chance. Let's go. Here we go. As again, we have our hatch gas pool opener out of Lambo. Likewise, Gate Expand out of Hearthstone. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Welcome to Undercurrent. Undercurrent does have a pocket expansion. ByuN going CC first, I believe. Yes, ByuN is going to be going CC first into a 3-wax follow-up, going for the pocket expansion. Meanwhile, Hearthstone has yet to claim his own pocket base. We'll be holding on to it. The Probe Scout does confirm it will CC first, does confirm the 3-wax follow-up as well. Again, this is the same build that ByuN has gone for every game that he's gone for Brood War Terran. Okay, sorry, I'll just fix up the score lines. As Marine's going to be amassing. Oh, Lair first out of Lambo. Very greedy. Going to be delaying link speed. So delayed link speed, rushing into the Lair. This looks like 2-base muta. Oh boy. Now, the scary thing here is that if ByuN is going to be hitting his 3-wax timing, 2-base muta is not going to help too much here. It's going to be a very strong timing here out of ByuN. And I'm concerned that Lamb is being a little bit too greedy. We'll see if we can get away with it. We will see. And the greed is real. Meanwhile, Hearthstone going for his own tech of choice, going for a Stargate opener himself. Oh, my apologies. I assumed it was going to be rushing into Spire, but no. The Lair is scouted. Link does confirm Hydra play. It is going to be a rush into Lurkers instead. Remember, Hydras are hatch tech, but Lurkers are Lair tech. Oh, he cancels. Okay, let's go. Does cancel the Hydra, Lair is done. We're going for the Spire. So we're getting some jukes here out of Lambo. Now, what is the big concern? We spoke about this at the start of this game when we saw the Lair first, and now we have to go back to it. We're rushing into muta play, rushing into the Spire. This means that Lambo has no ground army to work with. And what do we see? All in. ByuN and Solo, they're going for an all-in. Solo's going for a Bane Bust. Meanwhile, ByuN is going for his Sim timing. Remember, they scouted this. They knew that ByuN was going for a 3-wax. They know that Sim timing is coming. They know that aggression is on the way. And here comes the all-in. We have our Link Bane. We have our ByuN. We have some sunken colonies on the way. It's going to be 3 colonies here for Lambo. There's going to be a battery here for Hearthstone. Just 1 battery. This is hitting fast. Oh, the Oracle takes a lot of hull damage. Does sustain a lot of damage. The colony is there out of range. Getting to the mineral line. So Father Marine is dishing out some damage. Oh, manual detonation. Solar. No, Solar, he misclicked. I've been there before. Solar, he accidentally pressed manual detonation. He exploded his own banelings. Is that game? Is that just it? Is that? I mean, the hatchery still goes down. Yeah, the hatchery still goes down. Solar, he does get us around. And despite the handicap of Solar killing his own banelings, does he still just kill? Does he still? even here it happens again. Solar with the manual detonations, commits into the mineral lines, and they've done it. Lambo has been broken, Hearthstone has been broken as well. And wow, even with the handicap, where Solar, he killed his own units coming into the all-in, and they still have enough anyway. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, it just shows how greedy Lambo was this game. Just hyper greed out of the Zerg. And with that, Hearthstone, I mean, he's dead. At this point, Hearthstone has nothing left. Everything gets depowered, and mutas, they cannot hold their own. GG gets called, and with that, Solar and ByuN tie up the series. We're going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ByuN and Solar styling a little bit here as they hindered their own all-in. Ay, ay, ay. So there's a weaker all-in than what it should have been as Solar killed his own units, but with that, we are getting into the ace match. They still had enough to break Hearthstone and to break Lambo, and now we're going all the way to game number 5. Let's go. As a reminder, it is going to be loser's pick. It's up to Lambo and Hearthstone to pick and choose whether they want to play double SE2 or SE2 and Brood War. Let's go. Here we go. As we are jumping into game number 5, we're jumping into the ace match. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Rohana, we have the SE2 Zerg player, and yeah, no surprises here, SE2 Protoss. So double SE2 on the top left-hand corner. We have Lambo and Hearthstone. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the double Brood War duo. We have the teal Terran player. We have the blue Zerg. It is going to be Solar and ByuN. Here we go. Again, it is loser's pick, and it makes sense for Lambo and Hearthstone to want to play their main races. So they do pick SE2. They force Brood War out of both ByuN and Solar. So I do give the edge to Hearthstone and Lambo coming into this. We'll see what ByuN and Solar commit into. Do we go for another stim timing? First things first, CC first. So Command Center first here out of ByuN. Hatch first out of Solar. The question becomes, do we go for another 3-rack stim timing, or do we go into mech? Every game that ByuN has played, Brood War Terran, he has been going for 3-rack stim. It is a very popular build for good reason. It's very, very popular. It's very intense, hits very hard. It is one of the common meta openers in StarCraft Evolution, and yep, there it is, second racks. So 1, 2, 3 racks out of ByuN, stim timing. This can turn into an all-in, as we saw last game. Last game it went into an all-in with Ling Bane support. This time, of course, Banelings are not available for Solar. We'll see if he goes into a Hydra Rush or if he goes into a Ling Flood. Now, when it comes to all-ins, what I will say is that specifically on Rohana, we have a shared natural, so it's going to be an easier defense as both armies will be here in the same location, defending against the one main entrance. To counteract that, the rush distance is very direct across the map. There's no twists, there's no turns. ByuN, he thought about a bunker. I thought about it. Early Hydra, okay, so it's going to be the 3-rack stim timing alongside a Hydra Rush. Now, this does remind me of Game 1. If you remember Game 1, what did Solar do? He went for an early Evo Chamber into +1 range, into a +1 range 2-base all-in. Here, there is no Evo Chamber. Instead, we're going to be fixating all of our gas, all of our resources on Hydra production, even delaying Ling speed, if not just skipping it entirely. So no Ling speed. Prioritizing those Hydra upgrades. Getting Hydra speed. Defensive Baneliness out of Lambo. This is why I do think it's a good thing that we're not going just for purely a Ling Flood. Defensive Banelings will just shut him down. So Hydras have a little more counter micro available. They can split, they can focus on the Banelings. As it is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Hearthstone. Opening of Twilight Council, extra gateways into most likely 2-base at 2-gate blink. Oh, sorry, 3-gate blink. So 3-gate blink out of Hearthstone. Ling Bane out of Lambo. Hydras are amassing. Hallucination does confirm the fast Hydra den. And you can see here minimal joining. It's going to be 3 gas saturation, a couple of workers here at the natural, and the all-in will soon move out across the map. So we did mention this at the start of the series, at the start of the broadcast. I was curious to see if we were ever going to be able to embrace the mid to late game. At least in this best of 5, it's been purely all-ins. it's been non-stop all-in after all-in after all-in from both sides. And the all-ins continue. Here it is, 2-base all-in out of ByuN and out of Solar. Stim is finishing up in a couple of seconds. Hydra speed is done. Solar rushing in. And no stack defense? No shot. Lambo and Hearthstone, they're not ready at all. The pants are down completely. Yeah, they're down completely here. Very minimal defense, minimal saturation, or minimal setup. Stalkers going down. Lings, they cannot engage. And we have to go for this round. We have to go for this round here. Lings, they're being shot down ahead of time. Hydras, they focus on the Banelings. Ooh, decent connections. Yeah, we got some decent connections on the Hydras. But Lambo's been broken. Lambo, he has been broken. And with that, again, the defensive setup here was lacking. Lambo, he was getting a 3rd base. Was macroing up. Likewise, these batteries were late for Hearthstone. And Lamber's, he's been broken. Like, Lambert has nothing left. Nothing left at the natural. Nothing at the third base. Lambert's out. And it's just Hearthstone. It's just Hearthstone. Now, Hearthstone can share resources with Lambert. He can share resources. And Lambert, he can crank out a couple of Zerglings. Oh. Nice control here by Hearthstone. We can see Lambert trying to catch reinforcements. Does force the army back home. And we're still not droning. I was curious to see if Solar was going to drone up. The answer is no. Still no drones for Solar. Still purely Hydras. Still all in. ByuN is transitioning. ByuN, he's throwing down extra Raxes. The factory. ByuN is getting up to proper 2-base saturation. Meanwhile, Solar, again, still no drones. We're gearing up into wave 2. I will say that it's fine that Solar doesn't have any saturation just because Lambert was crippled. And Lambert's re-droning. It's lava being set on the economy. Ooh, Lambert, he wants those Hydras. He wants them. Gets 1, gets 2, 3, 4. Nice, we go see 5 Hydras going down. And can we catch out the army here? As we just push. Yeah, we just commit across the map. And meanwhile, big shout out to Blarg in the chat. God, baby, God. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for subscribing for 18 months. God, baby. Thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing. Hope you enjoy the content, the casting of the StarCraft. As Hydras are massing, they're pushing forward. We have a couple of slow Banelings on the way. Remember, there's no Baneling speed. Yeah, no speed on those Banelings. Solar does launch forward. Gets 1, 2, 3. Gets 4 Banelings. There's 4 Banelings left. They will finish. Solar does kite back. And again, there's only so much that Hearthstone can do on his own. There's so much he can do by himself. Yeah, no. He's got a Colossus. Colossus is popping up. Hearthstone coming in from behind. Does have a second army. Again, Hearthstone has a decent chunk of Stalkers to work with, but there's just too much on the ground. Hydras once again, they do bleed back the army. Getting into the mineral line. Zoning back the Link Bane. The Colossus has been putting in a lot of work. And Stalkers are coming from behind. He blinks in, gets 1. Gets 1 tank. Oof. Ah, the punish is real. Yeah, the punish is real. Solar, he does overextend with the Hydras. Nexus does go down. Hearthstone down to a 1-base economy. Down to 1 base. And both Solar and ByuN, they rotate. They rotate over towards the expansion, towards the 3rd. Colossus, they try to punish. Solar chasing Hearthstone down. Oh, he stems in. He wants him. He wants a Colossus. He gets 1. Oh my god. He gets 1 Colossus. Diving in the other. GG gets called. And with that, ByuN and Solar, they will claim the series 3-2, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ByuN and Solar, they will claim the series. Even being forced to play double Brood War, they still come out on top here in that final game. But again, non-stop aggression, non-stop all-ins out of everyone involved. What I was most impressed by, though, is that ByuN and Solar, they did claim the series without relying on double SE2. Like, double StarCraft 2, I feel like, has a pretty big advantage. But ByuN and Solar, even after their losses, they chose not to commit into double StarCraft 2. It was only ever, you know, a pairing of the 2 or double Brood War. So nice play there by ByuN and Solar. They will advance on into the grand finals, and we'll see who will join them. Who will join them in those finals? As up next, we have our next semis. It's going to be a best of 5. Going to be a best of 5 here between a unique pairing. Let's go. Let us go. It is going to be uThermal alongside Skillus. Okay, uThermal and Nikita up against SHIN and Nightmare. Let's go. SHIN, I will say, is very well versed when it comes to StarCraft Evolution. Nightmare is not. Nightmare, he's very much so inexperienced when it comes to this game mod. uThermal and Skillers, they're a unique pairing, but they do both have a lot of experience when it comes to StarCraft Evolution. I will say that. They're both experienced, they both have quite a lot of accolades to their own names. We'll see how they do perform. As we're jumping to game one, jumping into Rohana. It means family, papi. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Rohana, we have the Brood War Zerg player, we have the SE2 Protoss, we have SHIN, and Nightmare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the Brood War Terran player. We have the SE2 Protoss. It is going to be Skilless and uThermal. Let's go. Let us go. Yeah, we have our Terran Protoss duo up against our Protoss and Zerg duo here. And once again, I did mention that I feel like Nightmare might be a bit of a weak link. We'll see what occurs and we'll see what he relies upon, but Nightmare has very limited experience with StarCraft Evolution. Bear that in mind. We'll see how he does handle himself. I would imagine that he will be playing and relying on SC2 the entire series. I would imagine. Meanwhile, uThermal, he is going for the early Raxes. We have one, we have two Raxes. Looks like we're going for the early stim timing. So early stim, early ByuN. You saw that ByuN was often doing this off of an expand. He was going CC first, then the 3-Rax follow-up. Here, uThermal doesn't expand. No expansion, going for a 2-Rax opener into Academy, into stim, into early stim timing. Meanwhile, we'll see how Nikita is going to be aggressive, as he should be aggressive alongside his teammate. Going gate expand initially. Does go for the gate expand. As there's the Academy on the way. As we mentioned, it is going to be the Academy leading into stim. Show us what you got. Are going to be opening up. There's a Stargate opener out of Nightmare. So opening up Stargate. SHIN getting his macro hatchery, going for early Hydras. Okay. So early Hydra play out of SHIN. Nightmare's expansion is going to be delayed. Nice pylon block here from Skilless. Does block, does delay. Even going for the Cyber Core. Being very annoying. But the Lings will help out. Yeah, Lings will help. We'll force a cancel. And Nightmare will eventually expand. There's that cancellation. Meanwhile, stim is almost done. uThermal's going for his push. Bearing in mind that there isn't really much to work with here. We have 2 Stalkers for Skilless. We have how many Marines in total? We have 9 Marines, 2 Medics. Sunken colonies are on the way. uThermal may avoid. Yeah, he does keep going. Wow, he stims in. He stims in. Nightmare's in trouble. He's in trouble here. He's got 1 Oracle to defend. Army stims into the main. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. Desperation here out of Nightmare. Forcible the boys. Nice target firing on top of the Oracle. Ay. The Oracle goes down. Marines are going to be cleaned up, but not a bad trade for uThermal. Yeah, not a bad trade. Likewise, nice positioning with the medic. Army gets cleaned up, and how many workers went down? 9. 9 pros went down, and the Oracle and the Stalker. Nightmare, he's crippled. Nightmare is being crippled here early on. He's stumbling out the gate. And we're building up into the follow-up. This time with U238 shells. Skilless taking up into his own Twilight Council in a blink, into 4 Gapeling Stalker. The pressure's on SHIN. SHIN doing what he can. Bleeding out a big chunk of Lings. Lings being punished. Everyone's skills are building up. When behind, a Dark Shrine. Let's go. It makes sense. Nightmare going for his Twilight Council into Dark Shrine. There's a chance here that DTs can pop off. It's a later robo here by Skillets, but it's still on the way. We'll have detection. Likewise, Scan's going to be available as well. As we do have those compensations on the way. Building into it. uThermal moves out. Skills likewise as well. Again, Nightmare, he's still trying to recover, and the one way of doing so, at least for for Nightmare, I'm going to say, is to go into Dark Templar, but it's going to be a 1v2 for the most part. SHIN, can he hold on? We have 3 Stalkers here in the battery for Nightmare. First Sankahoni goes down. Does kite away, peeking away the Hydras. The Hydras are falling one after the other. There's the first stim. uThermal stims in, the Hydras are going down, and it looks like they've done it. Yeah, it looks like they have done it. SHIN bleeds out every single Hydra. Ay, ay, ay. SHIN is being broken, and Nightmare as well. Ah, there's the Immortal, okay. Boys are being pulled, Immortal does pop. Nightmare is holding. They're holding on, just barely. They do hold, they do defend. Looking at the worker counts here, what do we have to work with? We have Skillets. Skillets does have the worker advantage over his opponents, over Nightmare. Likewise, more CVs compared to drones from the side of the Terran and Zerg as well. Yeah, Skillets and uThermal, they still have momentum. They still have a massive army to work with. Again, SHIN and Nightmare, they held, which was impressive, but they're still barely treading water. They're still barely holding on. This expansion will fall. There's no saving this. Hatchery goes down. That brings down the hatchery. Containing Nightmare and SHIN. Being contained. Wait, I guess we have Lair Take Lurkers on the way. No, I guess. Morphing into a couple of Lurkers, Disruptors as well. The goal here should just be to expand. Skill is claiming his third base, DTs to get across the map, at the same time, third TC for uThermal. They're claiming their third bases, taking over the map, gaining more momentum. You notice the expand. They're moving in. Oh. And massive tank shots. Oh, Hydras are exposed. Oh no, the Hydras! Oh my god, it's a meat grinder. So many go down. Marines just bully back the Hydras. Lurkers, they get focused on as well. There's 1 lurker left. Sorry, 2 lurkers, 3 lurkers. Jeez. Down to 3. Down to 2. Just a handful of lurkers. Never goes up. Raising the army, another lurker goes down. Still minimal lurkers. Another lurker should fall here. Barely does. Down to 1? Yeah, down to 1 lurker. And tanks are pushing in. Yeah, the tanks are slowly working forward. They're forcing the fight out of SHIN. Nova's going off. G's connections. Novas are decent, but it's not enough. It's not enough, Pappy. Not enough. Yeah, once again, the Hydras overextend. GG gets called, and uThermal and Skillers take game number 1. GG. GG will play. They claim lead in the series, winding it back here again. They were both hyper aggressive early on, going for the early stim timing and the early rush out of Skillers. And SHIN and Nightmare were woefully underprepared. They were underprepared, and Nightmare got bullied so hard this game, losing 9 probes at the beginning of the game, losing his Oracle as well. The Stargate opener was not worth it, and Nightmare fell behind, and it turned into a 1v2. It turned into just SHIN versus uThermal and Skillers, and SHIN, because of that, was being overwhelmed, bleeding out so many Hydras, bleeding out his third base twice as well, 3 times even. SHIN, he could not hold on, and Nightmare couldn't quite recover either. Went for a cheeky follow-up. He went for a Dark Templar, which had potential, but not good enough. And not good enough in the end. GG, well played, and with that, we're getting into our next game. Gonna be loading into game? No, we're not thus. Gonna be loading into Biodome. Oh, I wasn't sure if there were any unique maps added to this tournament map pool, but no, yeah, okay, we do. Interesting. We have a handful of Brood War maps. This is one of them. As spawning in the top right hand corner. I don't know if this is a Brood War map or if it's just like a newer like 2v2 map. But in the top right hand corner, we do have our pairing. We have our duo. We have the SE2 Zerg player. We have the StarCraft 2 Protoss. It was their pick, of course. They picked double SE2. It is Nightmare and SHIN. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the double Brood War team. We have the red Terran. We have the blue Protoss. It is Skillers and uThermal. I think there's an SE2 map. Well, there you go. So it looks like this might just be an SE2 map that never made it to the ladder. Maybe it was one of like the TLMC maps that didn't quite make it through. That is my assumption. Here we go. Here we go. So it is a 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in a bottom right, top left, or top right. So we're looking for our opponents. We are scouting. As it is going to be Hatch Gas Pool. Hatch Gas Pool out of SHIN. Likewise, Nightmare going for his own gate expand as well. But again, they do have the advantage of playing double Protoss. Once again, as we mentioned previously, this was loser's pick. A loser's pick here. So both SHIN and Nightmare, they do choose to stick with double SC2. Double StarCraft 2. Early Academy. Once again, stim timing out of uThermal. So very early sim timing. This is Academy before CC, before expansion, going into his 3-racks. So 3-rack stim, hyper committed play here by uThermal. 1 base all in essentially out of the red Terran. Skillers, how does he open up instead? 2 gates. 2 gates and Master Dragoon. Is this a full wall? It is. That's a little bit awkward. Airload is going to be denied. As we are massing up. Building up our armies. It is going to be a Robo Opener out of Nightmare. Very safe play. Robo Opener into Defensive Immortals. Defensive Prism. Meanwhile, Hatch Gas Pool. Safety Spine Cooler's on the way. SHIN, does he recognize what's going on exactly? Not quite. Does scout the 2 gates. The door's open. It's go time. Here we go. It is go time. Again, uThermal's all in. Skillers as well. Skillers does expand behind this, so he does have some kind of follow-up, but this is very committed. As stim is almost done in a couple of seconds. It's almost done. Committing in. Yeah, we have the Spine Cooler to defend. There's no Protoss units here. We only have the 1 sentry. Yeah, one sentry to hold. The queens are exposed. Losing one, losing two queens already. Ay, ay, ay. Lings here to engage. That's a decent chunk of Lings. Getting on top of the Dragoons, and Shin holds. Wow, Shinny does hold on. Cleans up all the Dragoons. Getting on top of the Bio. And the all-in has failed. The all-in has failed. We do have Overlord speed on the... Okay, no, it's cancelled. Cancels Overlord speed. Going for the lair. Maybe it was a misclick. But a nice hold overall and minimal economic losses. So with that, Shin does have the economic lead. Likewise, so does Nightmare. Skill is now claiming his own expansion, and uThermal is late to take his natural. Oh boy, so again, uThermal and Skillers, they were hoping for more damage. They needed to achieve more across the map. They failed to do so. I think what was most impressive to me is that Nightmare was a non-factor in that defense. Like, Nightmare, he had one sentry. He had one sentry, one battery. Nightmare wasn't really helping too much. It's mainly Shin. With that, it's going to be a shaky follow-up. Reaver production has begun for Skillers. Getting into his Reaver. At the same time, we have the double Immortal drop out of Nightmare. Being active across the map. Spinning out, so we have Shuttle Speed on the way. Scanner reveals is going to be 2 base Muta. Immortals, they bust into the main. Getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pro kills. Immortals, they just tank the Scarab shot. Jesus. They just tank it back. Nice harass. Oh, uThermal, can he catch out the Prism? He's hunting. Prism coming in from behind. Dragoons, they get a couple of shots off. Oof. Yeah, as Immortals, they trade well against the Dragoons. Force a recall. Oh no! Losing one Immortal. Yeah, losing one. The other does make it back home. You throw them on skills, they commit. They try to commit across the map. Catching out Lings. On Zerglings, Colossus has arrived. There's no blink. Oof, decent connections. Not bad. Connections are solid. Again, the reason why we're so committed here is that Shin, he's going to mass Muta, and the Mutas that won't really help too much in the defense. They can try to dive on the shuttle. Oof. Oh, Reaver goes down. Miscontrol. Skills late to pick up, late to control. Meanwhile, the mutalists are out. We have 9 mutas. Trying to catch reinforcements. That's the best option here for Shin. Getting some free tanks, not bad. Gets 1, gets 2. 2 tanks go down. Does commit. Catching out free Marines. Wow, getting a 3rd tank as well. uThermal getting pulled apart. GG gets called, and with that, Shin and Nightmare, they tie up the series. GG. Wow. GG, well played. Again, they knew about the mutas. They knew about the Spire. They knew about the mutas. But last, uThermal and Skillers, they were hoping they could force defensive mutas instead, but no, they broke out across the map. They caught reinforcements. And GG. GG, well played. With that, the all-in failed. There was nothing at home to defend. And with that, we have a back and forth. We have a tied series here. We're going into game number 3. Let's go. Let us go. Jumping into game 3 here. We'll see who takes the lead in the series. Bearing in mind, it is Lucia's pick. What do we go for? As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Yellow Jackets, we have the teal Brood War Zerg player alongside the purple Brood War Protoss as well. Force into double Protoss. Ay, ay, ay. It is going to be Nightmare and Shin. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player, we have the red Terran, we have the SC2 Terran, the SC2 Protoss, it is uThermal and Skillus. I wasn't sure if they would try to take advantage of this here, but they are going for it. They're going for it here. Remember our last game, it was a double. Oh, we did have our double Protoss. So I keep saying double Protoss. We had double SC2 from both SHIN and Nightmare in game number 2. Here in game 3 is double SC2 for uThermal and Skillus. So we have to give the advantage here to uThermal and Skillus. Nightmare and SHIN are going to be struggling a little bit more. I believe this is the first time that Nightmare is playing Brood War Protoss. First time. Oh boy. I mentioned earlier that Nightmare is going to be a bit of a weak link here whenever he's forced to play Brood War. And I'm curious to see how he opens up. I'm curious. Meanwhile, 2-gate opener out of Skillus, already hyper aggression. Likewise, we do see uThermal, almost ByuN. uThermal going for an early stim timing. I don't think this is necessary, but I guess it makes sense. So a couple of things here. One base all in. One base all in from uThermal, one base all in from Skillus. We're going for all ins. I was going to say that I feel like they're going to be at the advantage going into the mid game here, playing double StarCraft 2. But at the same time, if Nightmare is very inexperienced, same with SHIN, if they have less experience when it comes to playing Brood War, when it comes to playing defensive, especially in StarCraft Evolution, then going for these all-ins can work wonders. But it's risky. It's very, very risky here. Again, 3 racks Mass Reaper out of uThermal. 2-gate opener double Adept out of Skillus. And we're rallying across. Yep, here we go. Proxy 2-gate. Sorry, Proxy Gateway and a Proxy Robo. Remember, it's just one base all-ins. Gonna be a Dragoon opener here out of Nightmare. Likewise, SHIN going into link speed. Staying in gas. But I am concerned. I'm worried here for SHIN and Nightmare. They just don't know what's going on. They're still in the dark. They didn't scout the main. They have no idea. They didn't even see the additional gateways. Didn't see the gates. Didn't see the Raxes. SHIN going for a forward third. Oh god. Oh god. Tells us that he's not aware. He's going Evo Chamber first as well. That will not help. Yeah, as Reapers, they bust into the main, Adepts into the natural. So far, decent pickups. Proxy Immortal. Proxy Immortal's out. We're still massing on more Reapers. As uThermal, he rotates. He does rotate over. On the high ground, we have 1 battery. Lings just trying to engage. Mass Reaper. Yeah, Mass Reaper does punish his Ducklings. No, now they know. Yeah, now they know the all-in is coming. Pylon goes down. Spine coolers are on the way. It takes a long time to build up those sunken colonies, though. And they're overwhelming. Yeah, with that Skillus and uThermal, they do overwhelm. They're getting on top of the battery. They zone away the Dragoons. We still need more time for the colonies. Still needs more time. Lings are coming from behind, though. Okay. Yeah, they come in from behind. They do force. They do cause a distraction. Colonies are finishing. Can SHIN hold on? Can he hold that? As the army's moving in. Yeah, we're collapsing forward. Lings are coming for the surround. Yeah, they try to come in for the surround here. They do get on top of the Stalkers, getting 1, getting 2 Stalkers. But the Immortals, they just overwhelm. Yeah, there's just so many here. We have the second Immortal pushing forward. I say that, we have a lot of batteries. We have those colonies as well. It's close. It's still close. Nightmare's holding on. Lings go for the counterattack. No shot. No shot. They're holding. And behind this, SHIN is on 3 bases. SHIN, he's on 3 expansions. He's still flooding across the map. Nightmare, he's on 2 bases himself. They're holding. The all-in is running out of steam. We're getting a little bit ambitious. Yeah, Dragoons are getting punished. Gonna be zoned away. Lane counterattack doesn't do much damage. Skills drops into the main. Two up taking 1-shot probes. They don't line up their shots. They're not lined up. But again, Nightmare and SHIN, they're stabilizing. They're stabilizing. They're saturating. They're getting further ahead. Remember, Skills has no expansion, by the way. Skills is completely all in. The Mass Reaper, somewhat trading. Shaving off a good chunk of Lings. Lings going down, collapsing further in. Oof. Hydras are exposed. The Mass Reaper overwhelms the Ling Hydra. I'm like, Mass Reaper, they win the fight against Ling Hydra. No shot. Yeah, SHIN, he cannot hold the zone. The colony is late. At the same time, Immortals, they bust in. And they're doing it. They're still pulling it off. It is a delayed all-in. It's taken a long time to really get going. It was very close, very clutch. But Skills and uThermal, they're doing it. They're doing it. I expect to see it all. One Immortal goes down. 2 left. God, those Immortals, they do so much here behind this. So much damage on the Dragoons. Boys are being pulled into Mass Reaper. We're running out of Reapers. Shuttle goes down. Okay. Prism gets sniped. Can the Dragoons, can they get on top of the Immortals? Shields are triggered. Gets 1. 1 Immortal left. Automass. Automass barely gets it as well. Immortal goes down. Purely Reapers remaining. And Nightmare and SHIN, they're holding on. They're holding on. I say that looks like the boys are pulled. Yeah, the boys are pulled. A lot of drones did go down for SHIN. SHIN stuck on low drone counts. uThermal's got a proper economy. 3rd CC is on the way. I'm sure at this point uThermal can just be feeding Skillis. Like Skillis, he's down and out. Like Skillis, he's got nothing. He's Skillis, he's down and out. But the Mass Reaper's still a problem. Yeah, no shot. Mass Reaper wins this fight, by the way. Like, Mass Reaper's crazy. Bullying back the Hydras. Non-stop KDA charges. Non-stop. SHIN, who loses 3rd. Shows a Scarab shot. Up! Oof. Chunk goes off, gets a Reaper. Takes down 1. Skillis finally expands, and again, can uThermal feed Skillis? Can he feed him and help him recover? Because uThermal's got an economy. He's got a 3rd. That's more than I can say for SHIN and Nightmare. SHIN and Nightmare, they're still stuck on 2 bases each. SHIN especially with the limited economy. uThermal, he commits. Oh no, the Hydras! Yeah, he goes in. He does keep it in here, and so many Hydras going to be going down. Completely resets the Hydra counts. Oh my god, the Hydras are so fragile. Mass Reaper shuts him down completely. Cashing out Dragoons. Mass Reaper's crazy. Oh my god. He can't be stopped, Pappy. He can't be stopped. The Mass Reaper. We're clowning, Pappy. We're clowning. Rakes through, busts into the main. Finally, this will be cleaned up. Finally, the Reapers are going down. But behind this, uThermal transitioning. Stim is on the way. ByuN's on the way as well. It is going to be that ByuN transition. uThermal, he is the furthest ahead compared to any other player just because of his economy. Skillis is still struggling, but likewise, so is SHIN and Nightmare. Like SHIN and Nightmare, they're still also trying to recover. We're getting messy. Very messy. The one base all-ins didn't kill, but I would say that they did cripple. Did cripple Shin and Nightmare. More Reapers massing up. Oh. As Reapers, they drop in. Reapers, they do bust into the bases. Bust into the mineral line. So far, catching up some more workers. I mean, finally, the Reaper count is going to be reset. But I mean, they more than pay for themselves this game. They've been able to hold their own. Meanwhile, Skill is still recovering. Skill is behind this, going to his own Archon production. Interesting. And Charger Archon, attempted Charger Archon out of Skillus. He's got this army. He's got 2 Stalkers, 1 Archon, 1 Immortal. Again, barely a supportive army here for Skillus. It's mainly uThermal holding his own. Can he 1v2 though? Can he do it? So we have the Queen's Nest on the way. Building up to the Queen's Nest. Oof. Decent Scarab shots. Thermal breaking out. Against Skillus, he does have some reinforcements to help out. There's a handful of them. He's helping in his own way. Skillus does overextend. Losing the early Archon. Immortal taking a lot of hits as well. Thermal sims in. And tries to stim forward. Trading well. Behind this, no splash damage outside of the Reavers. Reavers were so heavily reliant on those Scarab shots. If they don't connect with the ByuN, then uThermal can just stim and win. Your Queens are on the way. Oh, the Zeal drop into the main. Zeal warping in towards the natural. Critical damage. Shin is distracted. Zeal's still distracting. uThermal rotates. Rotates to the center. Again, there's no Reavers in position. This expansion is going to go down. Oh no! The Reavers. They can't engage. They're trying. Oh my god. Shuttle's being forced back. So many Hydras going to be going down. And uThermal, he is holding his own here. Again, the Hydras, they just have no supportive units, whether it's Queens, whether it's Lurkers, Defilers. GG gets called. GG gets called, and with that uThermal and Skillus, they will finally claim game number 3. GG. Whew. GG, well played. They'll take a 2-1 lead in this best of 5. Again, uThermal and Skillus, they achieved so much with their initial 1-base all-ins, but they barely didn't kill. They may not have killed, but they did gain a massive lead, right? Both Shin and Nightmare, they were both crippled. They were both struggling. So was Skillus. It was uThermal that had a booming economy. He was on 3 bases. He had double the army supply of any other player out there as well, and with that, they did overwhelm. The one thing keeping Nightmare and Shin alive were the Reaver shots, the Scarab shots, but again, they were being out-positioned, and they couldn't quite keep up. Shin himself, he was unable to really take up into Lurkers or Queens. He was heading in that direction, but he needed more time. Did need more time. With that, GG well played. With that, we're loading into our next game. It is going to be up to Shin and Nightmare. It's their pick. It's going to be their pick moving forward. Up next, we have Rust Bucket, and we'll see if they go double Protoss. We'll see. So I keep saying double Protoss. Double StarCraft 2. I don't know why I associate that with Protoss. I smoked. SSC2 at the moment, baby. True, true. Spawning in the top left-hand corner. Wait, what? Okay. Spawning in the top left-hand corner. Yep, here we go. We have the teal Zerg player. We have the purple Protoss, SE2 Protoss, SE2 Zerg, Team SE2. It is going to be SHIN and Nightmare. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the double Brood War team. It is going to be uThermal and Skillous. Let's go. Let us go. It is going to be team double Brood War. Once again, last game we had uThermal and Skillous playing double StarCraft 2, and they had the advantage. Here, I would say that Nightmare and SHIN have the advantage for playing double StarCraft 2 instead. Oh boy. They have that advantage. They're going to need it as well to make it to the ace match. Currently, it's 2-1 in favor of uThermal and Skillous. They do have the advantage. We'll see if they can go all the way. For now, 2 racks. 2 racks opener out of uThermal. Are we going for a 1-base all-in again? Are we going for 2 racks into the academy into the 3rd racks? I would say the answer is yes. I would say yeah, high chance it's going to be an all-in. Welcome to Rust Buckets. Rust Bucket does have a shared natural expansion. There is an alternate way into the natural, but it's walled off by rocks, so that most likely will not come into play. Rax is now done, and we're waiting for the academy. Oh, for now we're just setting up. So 2 racks opener into the CC on the low grounds. No gas is being taken. Interesting. You have my attention. So my apologies, I just assumed the gases were going to be taken, but the answer is no. The gases are delayed, so we have a more economic build. Likewise, Skillous going for the pocket base. There is that pocket expansion. And we're building up into the mid game, or into the early game, specifically. Building up into the early game. That's really going to be opening up. Robo open out a Nightmare. Meanwhile, we do have a bit of a 2-1-1 setup out of it. Oh, not a 2-on-1. We're switching into mech. Okay, so 2 racks opener into double factory into mech. So uThermal's going to mech it up. And for the first time this series, we're actually building up into the mid game. I mentioned previously here, but every game so far in this series has been non-stop all-ins, non-stop hyper-aggression. But here, we're slowing things down. We're slowing things down. Now, it is going to be a very fast. That's a 320. No, that's just like, what, a 310? A 3-minute lair timing? Crazy early lair timing here at SHIN. So early lair, link speed is still being researched, gases are on the way. Are we going into 2-base Muta? It's feeling like Mutas. Likewise, Robo opener into the later Twilight Council, just safer play by Nightmare. It does feel like Nikita is going for his own Reaver drop. A 3rd Nexus? What the hell? I was about to say that the Robo feels really late, and it is. So late Robo, very fast 3rd base, Hyper Greed out of Skillous going up to 3 Nexus. Before tech. Hyper Greed. Now, a couple of things here. So Skillous is being hyper greedy. We do see uThermal going for the mech transition into a 3rd TC. We're both building up into the mid game, both Skillous and uThermal. Meanwhile, we have SHIN who's being hyper greedy and rushing into Muta play, and he should not be punished. The scariest thing with going into 2-base lair is that you are vulnerable early on, but because uThermal and Skillous are so busy being hyper greedy in their own way, it means that there's no punish for the Spire. No punish, and so far no scouting either. So I do favor SHIN and Nightmare coming into the mid game. So far at least. Scan into the main base, doesn't see anything. Scan into the pocket expansion. No scan here at the natural. Oof. For all they know, it could be Hydras, it could be Spire. Still in the dark. Without the armory, there's no Goliath production. The armory is outdone. We need some safety Goliaths. Yeah, vultures are denied. I don't see any anti-air here for uThermal. Here come the mutas. Valkyrie. Okay, he's going for a blind Valkyrie. That will help. Valkyries have a lot of splash damage. But how many will uThermal have? Yeah, scan once again to the main base. Doesn't see anything. Second Valkyrie's in production. And here come the mutas. The mutas are making their way into the bases. They're heading into the main base of Skillus. Probe's going to be going down. Dragoons have a hard time keeping up. Oof, this is getting out of hand. Yeah, so far 13. 13 probes going down. Stalkers, they do hit the forward base. Yeah, Skype Shot does connect. More probes going down. Skills being bullied. Valkyrie's on its own. Yeah, just one Valkyrie. Only the one. Valkyrie barely goes down. Ooh, SHIN gets punished. He gets punished for overcommitting. SHIN does overcommit. Behind this, switching into Hydra production. These mutas did pay for themselves, but a little bit wasteful towards the end. Yeah, a little bit wasteful. Has to pull away. Another mutalist falls. Do you see uThermal trying to push out? Tries to move out. So do you see Nightmare diving into the natural? Picks off the Reaver. Mutas into the third. And uThermal's being pulled apart. Yeah, they're just being pulled apart here, losing more SCVs. Not too many though, just 2. It's 33 probe kills though. Skillus is struggling. As being forced to counterattack. Stalkers, they dive in. They catch out the shuttle. Oh, yeah, shuttle goes down. And at this point, it does feel like Seals and uThermal, they're forced into the all-in. They're forced to just commit across the map. As more seas are falling. And we're just setting it. It's all or nothing. At this point, uThermal and Skills, they just giving up on defending. They commit across the map. Nice force field, slowing this down. But we gotta respect the tanks. That's a lot of tanks. Yeah, so many tanks at the same time. Lings, they flood in. No, the wall's not a wall. Yeah, the wall is wide open. Muta's overwhelmed. Looks like Batman who loses third, but at the same time, Lings, they bust into the main. They flood into the main base. They flood into the pockets. Mutas are being cleaned up. The mass repair on the Valkyrie is too good. Mass repair. Oh, the whole position micro. Okay. Nicely done. Nice whole position micro. Skillus, he's holding on. Here comes the main army. Charge, let's take it on top of the tanks. Oof. Yeah, even forcing friendly fire. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks going. 5. Oh my god. 5 tanks going down. Zealous, they put a lot of work. And with that, we get a full surround. We get a full surround. SHIN collapsing in with his mass-laying Hydra. Again, mutas are only harassing. You get the real army here was Hydras instead. And SHIN and Nightmare, they're overwhelming. They're just overwhelming the army. They have all the momentum. And they're looking to force the ace match. Here they come. Hydras, they start step forward. They catch out the shuttle. Shuttle goes down. Archons as well. And again, even though we had Hyper Greed out of uThermal and Skillers, they got punished. They got punished in the end by the Mutas, by the Stalker Aggression. GG gets called, and we are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We're going all the way to game number 5. It all ends here. It all will end in our final game on New Bed of Chaos. Winding it back here again, we saw that both uThermal and Skills were being hyper greedy, but they were punished. In the end, they failed to scout. They failed to confirm that mutas were on the way. So SHIN, he hit his spire, he hit his lair, was able to rush into muta play unscouted. And likewise, we saw Nightmare also keeping up with aggression with Blink Stalkers. Able to join him. Was able to join. Let's go. As we are loading into game number 5, the ace match here, the final game of the series, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of a New Bed of Chaos, we have the duo here. Okay, we have the teal Zerg player, the Brood War Zerg, alongside the SE2 Protoss. It is Nightmare and SHIN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Brood War Terran player, we have the SE2 Protoss, it is Skillers and uThermal. And we almost got mid-game, or I mean, I guess we did last game. For the most part, like uThermal and Skills were building up into a greater mid-game setup, but they were denied that. So they were denied that by the mutas, by the Blink Stalker Aggression. Eventually, they were forced into the all-in. And they were shut down. Were shut down in the end. Again, now we're getting into our next game, into the ace match. Here we're walling up here outside of the expansions. We do have a shared main and a shared natural available, so shared bases. We have a pretty solid 2-base setup. Production's going to be somewhat exposed. We have SHIN going hatch before pool, so a very greedy build here by SHIN. Likewise, Nightmare going gate expand. Once again, we're building up. We are going to be building up. Building it back at home, claiming our own natural. From here, we'll see kind of the direction that we tech in. uThermal still has the option to go into mech, for example, to go into double factory, into massive ultra production. We'll see if he does embrace that kind of style. We'll see if he goes for it. Likewise, we have SHIN and Nightmare also being greedy in their own way. Getting into a pretty tame early game. There's that first factory for uThermal, so that he's not going for an early stem timing. Going double factory into mech. Okay, so uThermal's going to make it up. But meanwhile, we do have a very fast lair to SHIN. Jesus, fast lair, early Evo chamber. This looks like the build that Solo went for when he played with ByuN. Never mind. Okay, cancels. I was curious if it was going to be a real Evo chamber, but no, it's a fake Evo chamber. Going for the faster layer. Are we going into mutas again? So we're going to muta play. Bearing in mind that you don't need a layer for Hydra tech. So higher chance is going to be mutas. Likewise, Nightmare also getting into his own Twilight Council into Blink. Blink-based opener out of Nightmare. Oh, okay, we do have a Hydroden on the way. So SHIN does write on his Hydroden. Is this for show or is it real? Checking the vision here, Hydroden was not scouted, so it looks like this might be for fast lurkers. Interesting. Getting into the Evo chamber a little bit later. Have my attention. Fast +1 air attack is on the way. We're going to, sorry, my apologies, I missed this. Double Stargate Mass Phoenix. Mass Phoenix out of Skillus. Mass Vulture out of our Terran player, out of uThermal. So Mass Vulture Phoenix going to be up against Mass Hydra and Blink Stalkers. It's going to be a lot of anti-air. It's going to be a lot of anti-air here.
Our forces are under attack.
Mass Phoenixes are revealed. Overlords are being hunted down. So building up that Hydra count. I'll say that against the style, either we're gonna be going for a very strong like 3-base timing attack, or we should be taking up in towards Defilers. One or the other. Minefield's being cleaned up. Shout out to the Overlord. Yo, we're going for some Hydra drops. For now, we're sharking around. Bearing in mind that Overlords are detectors. Are detectors. More Hydras amassing. There's our Queen's Nest on the way. I'm not too fond of the idea of going into Queens just because they should be punished by the Phoenixes. It'll be harder to pull them off. Oof. Hydras are punished. ByuN SHIN trying to engage. Tempest production has begun. As blink in, he's crazy. Yeah, blinks in, does get a tank. Tank goes down, nice catch on the Phoenix. Ooh, and uThermal's out of position. Yeah, uThermal's out of position, pushing into the Concave, into the Mass Stalker Hydra. Vultures are punished. They're throwing down a minefield, but the minefield doesn't matter here. We can just avoid the tanks. Yeah, we can avoid them completely. And uThermal, he was just completely caught out of position. The pants were down. Army does bypass uThermal, heading straight into the main. And that might just be game. Like, this is crazy. So many SCVs going to be going down. Cashing out all the workers. We can see uThermal trying to go for the counterattack. Tempest getting caught out. Losing one Tempest already. Oof. Yeah, the Phoenixes are being thrown away. The Vultures are being thrown away as well. And with that, we do not get into a longer back and forth game. We almost got into the mid game, but not quite. Skills is being torn apart. Oof, we have a handful of tanks. They both get focused down. There's well 5 Vultures remaining. Hydra still rallying in. Tempest, they have no support. She also blink. He blinks in. He gets one. There's one Tempest left. Uno más, papi. Uno más. And GG gets called with that uThermal is broken. So is Skillus, and Nightmare and SHIN will advance on into the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played, congratulations, Nightmare and SHIN. They will advance on, they will claim the series. Again, it looked like uThermal and the Skillus were going to be able to force a longer game. They were holding, they were defending, they were building up into mech, building up into Sky Toss, but one wrong move, uThermal was completely out of position. There was a massive opening leading directly into the natural, and it was open. It was left open. In the end, we saw that both SHIN and Nightmare that went straight through the middle, straight through the center, straight down mid, up into the natural, and then GG. Just out positioning both the Terran and Protoss opponents. And with that, they claim the series. They're making it all the way to the grand finals here. It's going to be a best of five between ByuN Solar up against SHIN and Nightmare. Let's go. We're going to be cutting to a break. We're going to be cutting to a short break here, and when we come back, we will have our grand finals. It's going to be a best of five Korean, all Korean finals. We'll see you soon after the break. See you soon, baby. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals here of the SEL, the StarCraft Evolution League Doubles #1. This is the first of many upcoming 2v2 tournaments featuring the SE Evo Mod. As you have seen so far, this is StarCraft Evolution. It is a kind of a new mod, of course, that does pit together Brood War versus SE2, but here in the 2v2 format, it's a little bit different. There's a different dynamic going on. It is possible to have SE2 versus Brood War, which is not the most balanced of matchups. Bear that in mind. But that is a viable option here in this match or in this tournament series as well, as we have seen in the format, and we'll see how our players will approach against each other. As we're jumping into our grand finals, it's going to be a best of 5 between ByuN and Solar teaming up versus SHIN and Nightmare. I did mention previously that Nightmare, he is a bit of a weak link when it comes to Brood War. He is less experienced when it comes to StarCraft Evolution, so we'll see how he does handle himself. We'll see if he can embrace non-stop SE2, which he was able to excel with previously. True. That excel with, but here we go. We're going to be loading into Yellow Jacket for game #1. Let's go. We are jumping into the first game of the series. Coming into this, I did mention previously about ByuN. He is the highest rated Terran player in StarCraft Evolution, Solar being the highest rated Zerg player. You can make an argument for SHIN. Like it's like I would say that SHIN and Solar are the top two. The top two Zerg players in StarCraft Evo. Whether it's one or the other, hard to really nail down just because we haven't seen too much of the two of them against each other until now, until this 2v2, of course. True. Until the 2v2. Let's go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Yellow Jacket, we have the Brood War Terran player. We have the SE2 Zerg. It is going to be ByuN and Solar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the SE2 Protoss. We have the Brood War Zerg. It is SHIN and Nightmare. Let's go. Let us go. We have our 2v2. We are loading into Yellow Jackets. We have our shared main base. We have a somewhat shared natural. I say somewhat because even though the natural base is shared, there are two entrances. We have the main entrance here on the top side. We also have this southern entrance as well. So all-ins can hit from different directions, and they can hit and they can catch an opponent off guard, depending on the lack of defensive setup as well. So 2 ace defenses are a little bit more difficult on Yellow Jackets. Is going to be CC first. Okay, so CC first out of ByuN, going CC first into most likely a 3-wax follow-up. Meanwhile, Solar going hatch first himself. Now, when it comes to tonight's broadcast, there's been almost non-stop all-ins. We saw a little bit of mid-game previously in the last series, a little bit of it. Even in the Lambo Hearthstone series, we kind of got almost mid-game play as well, but it was still hyper-aggressive, and there was still like a big advantage for one of the teams as well because of how the early game did go and did unfold. We'll see how things do adjust as we load into the early game setup. Once again, as I mentioned, CC first into 3-wax stim. It's going to be very strong stim timing out of ByuN, and my assumption is that Solar will hit with ByuN with stim. Whether we also commit into a 2-base all-in, yet to be determined. Meanwhile, thankfully, SHIN and Nightmare, they confirm, they scout, they confirm the build, they confirm the earlier CC, they confirm the 3 Raxes, so they have time to react and respond. We already see SHIN going for a very fast third hatchery. So fast third base, into a later spawning pool. Likewise, Nightmare also building up. Let's build up. There's that academy. Again, leading to earlier stim. We'll keep an eye on Solar when it comes to his gases. Okay, he does pull out. Does pull out a gas, claiming a third base, still just joining, still just saturating. We'll see if he goes into a Bailey nest, into his lair, into further tech. Oh, going early Evo chamber into +1. Okay, we have the answer. Early chamber, early +1. Likewise, Shin is going for his own Hydra Den. So we have our take of choice, going Ling Hydra. Ling Hydra out of Shin, Twilight Council out of Nightmare. We're setting up into the mid game. We are setting up. Still waiting for Sim. Here comes ByuN. As he zones away the Adept. Adept does shade into the mineral line. Okay, gets one, gets two. So just one SCV so far. Not a bad start. Catching an SCV. Here comes that Sim timing. Solar is going to be reacting with Mass Ling. Okay, so he's reinforcing, he's supporting. Yeah, Mass Ling is on the way. I was curious if Solar was going to try to hit with this timing. The answer is yes. The answer is Solar. He's not droning. He's not droning up his third whatsoever. Just pure Ling flood out of Solar. He's going for it. He commits. Yeah, Solar, he's committing as well. Nice starter stepping here out of ByuN. Yeah, kites back well against the Zergling. Zergling's going to be going down now, going for the sentry. Battery putting in a lot of work. Up at the Lings. Yeah, Lings are overwhelmed. They're getting on top of the Stalkers. Ay, ay, ay. A little bit indecisive there by Solar. Does go for the pylons, gets one, gets both. Yeah, both pylons go down, depowers the batteries. And Shin, he was taking up too much. Yeah, he was taking up in towards Hydras. Shin is being overwhelmed, a little bit too greedy. Coney will not finish. I say that. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, Coney will not complete. And with that, again, Shin was just too greedy. Shin was too greedy. Couldn't support too much, and we never saw any Hydras come into play. And they never came into play here, and the Sin timing was just too good, too strong. As things, they come in for this around. They catch up more Stalkers. Oh my god. Yeah, 3 more Stalkers falling, 2 Stalkers left. Blink is available. Oh, Blink's in? Oh my god. Yeah, Blink's into the army, losing every single Stalker. Ah, no. The boys are being pulled. Desperation out of Shin. Yeah, we just rotate. It was always a natural. Once again, catching up more Hydras. Locking them down. Now, bearing in mind behind this, we have proper 2-base saturation for both Solar and ByuN. Meanwhile, Shin, alongside Nightmare, did bleed out a lot of workers. I say that, my apologies. It was mainly Lings being traded. Yeah, mainly Lings. It was 10 probes going down, so Nightmare, he was crippled. And here comes wave 2. Oh boy. Yeah, here comes the second wave. Solar behind this, taking up into Mutas. Going for his lair. We still have Mass Zergling. Jeez, collapsing on the army. Forcing out the Blink. Marines, they stim in, they catch out the Hydras. He wants them. He wants the Hydras. Oh my, and you can see how quickly the Hydras go down. Yeah, so quick, so fast. The Hydras, they cannot hold their own, not by themselves. And that second wave is enough to kill. It is enough to kill this time. As ByuN does focus on Nightmare, and meanwhile Solar focuses on Shin. Does focus on Shin. The Lings overwhelmed. GG gets called, and both ByuN and Solar, they take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, as we pointed out, Shin was just being a little bit too greedy. He was going for his Evo chamber, his Hydra Den, his upgrades were on the way. He was building up. He only had Lings to defend early on, and he was punished for that. So we saw that ByuN with that stim timing alongside Solar, of course, they overwhelmed the main force. They broke into the bases, into the mineral lines, and they did cripple Nightmare and Shin early on. Eventually, Shin got into his Hydra production, but that was after the fact. That was after all the losses, and we saw that pure Hydra struggles against Marine Ling. Again, due to the fact that there are no banelings, of course, Hydras are vulnerable, they're exposed until lurker tech, and we didn't see a single lurker. We didn't get that far. Did not get that far. GG well played with that. Solar and ByuN, they take in number 1, and now we're jumping to game number 2. It is going to be up to Nightmare and Shin to pick their races. It is loser's pick. Here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Rohana. We have the red Zerg player. We have the SC2 Zerg alongside the SC2 Protoss double StarCraft 2. It is going to be SHIN and Nightmare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the Brood War Terran player. We have the Brood War Zerg double Brood War. It is going to be ByuN and Solar. Let's go. Let us go. So double SC2 versus double Brood War. I do favor our SC2 team coming into this. I did mention previously, but Nightmare is going to be a lot more comfortable. SHIN as well, building up and delving into their own StarCraft 2 versions, their StarCraft 2 game modes, variations. Meanwhile, we're expecting an early sim timing out of ByuN. It's what it's been going for every game. Every game with Brood War Terran. I mean, yeah, we have yet to experience any kind of mech out of ByuN. Hasn't happened yet. It does mix it in every now and then, from time to time. But not this broadcast. Not yet. As here comes the CC first. CC first into first and second ranks. This should lead into a third ranks and into an academy into early sim. So once again, we're going for that early sim timing. Once again, we're waiting to see if Solar also commits. Now, Solar, if you watch his previous semifinals against Lambo and Harsum, Solar did really like supporting ByuN with early Hydras. Going for a 2-base Hydra all-in to support ByuN. The other option is going to be a Link Flood. Macro Hydras on the way. 2-gate opener out of Nightmare. Huh. That is not normal. So, Hyper Aggression, 2-gate opener out of our Protoss player. Standard opener out of SHIN. Going for a Stargate before expanding. Hyper Aggression out of Nightmare. Okay. Interesting. Remember, this is not safe play. This is not safe play. This is aggressive play out of Nightmare. Going for a very delayed expansion. SHIN, he doesn't get link speed. He's banking gas. Lair? And we have another queen. That's a third queen on the way. We have almost 200 gas. What's going on? SHIN? Happy? Okay, he's going for the lair, going for Roach. Okay, now it makes sense. So he's going for a Roach all-in. So Roach all-in out of SHIN. The lair is late. Like, in general here, he did wait a long time to throw down his tech. He had excess gas, so not the most efficient build. Yeah, not very efficient. Evo chamber? Interesting. So again, he is going to 2-base Roach, but it's a bit of a wonky build here from SHIN. Meanwhile, Lair is on the way for Solar. I was curious, if you recall, we were curious if it was going to go for a Hydra all-in or not. Lair feels like Muta play. This feels like Mutas. We did go early Evo chamber. Interesting. Let's go for the chamber. Lair is now done. And this is 2-base Muta. So 2-base Muta, 2-base Spire here from our Zerg player, from Solar. Ooh, the Oracle gets caught out. That should not have happened. Oof. A brutal left for Nightmare. The initial Stargate opener was not worth it. Here comes ByuN. Mentioned earlier, he's going for that sim timing, but this time Solar is not with him. Solar, he makes a handful of Zerglings, but Solar, he's droning. He's droning, he's saturating, he's embracing his Muta play. ByuN should not commit. He pokes in. Gets the Overlord. But he should not break through. So ByuN is just threatening, just poking in, forcing out all these roaches. Now, what is a little bit scary here is that SHIN, it does feel like he's going for his own 2-base all-in. He's going for +1 range and the roach speed at the same time. This timing will hit. The problem, though, is that they have not scattered Solar. They don't know what's coming his way. I don't know where the mute is. SHIN is woefully underprepared. Likewise, so is Nightmare. Remember, Nightmare has no blink. Like, Nightmare had a really awkward build, going 2-gate into Stargate into Expand. So very late tech, very late upgrades. Still no blink. There we go. Blink just now starting. As SHIN does claim a third. He's going for his third base. Massing out more roaches. SE2 team is moving out. My big concern here are the mutas, though. Mutalists are banking up. And anti-air is limited here to queens, to spores, and to a handful of vanilla stalkers. As they are lacking upgrades. Lings, they hit the third. Nice run by. Roaches, they rotate to the third base of Solar. Mutas, they are now revealing themselves, and they're going to go for the Ravagers. They're moving in. And Mutas, they collapse on the main army. Oof. Getting 1, 2, 3 Ravagers. Yeah, Roaches are just getting bullied here. Free damage on the Roaches. And ByuN, oh, Jesus, ByuN cuts him off. Yeah, he cuts him off, Bappy. Aye. Where can they go? Where can they go? Oof. I mean, there's nowhere to go. Yeah, there's nowhere to go. Every roach goes down. There's 3 roaches left. At the same time, we're pushing in, and there's just nothing. There's just nothing here. We have some Blink Stalkers. And they can maybe hold their own against the mutas, but there's all these Marines. Yeah, Fungal comes in. Nice Fungal, but there's no follow-up. Medics, they just heal. They heal through the Fungal. Boys are being pulled. Mutas have to be careful. And we're just committing in anyway. Another massive Fungal. Oh my god. Fungals are good, but so doesn't matter. Yeah, it's not good enough. GG gets called, and with that, ByuN and Solar, they take a lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Ay. As again, it was double Brood War here for ByuN and Solar. They were forced into double Brood War as a team. And hey, they still popped off with their stim timing. Likewise, no scouting on Solar. They had no idea that mutas were coming. Nightmare had a really weird build as well. Remember, Nightmare, he went 2-gate. 2-gate opener, into a Stargate, into a very late natural, into a delayed economy, into a worse mid-game. It was a very, very shaky build there. And with that, ByuN and Solar, they're up 2-0. They're up 2-0, 1 game away from claiming the series. Alas, SHIN and Nightmare, they're up against the ropes. Up against the ropes, up against the wall. Let's go. So we're jumping into our next game. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have once again the double Brood War team. We have the red Terran, we have the teal Zerg. It is Solar and ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the orange Zerg player, we have the red Protoss, we have the double StarCraft 2. It is going to be Nightmare and SHIN. Double SC2 team. Let's go. And again, on paper, I was favoring Nightmare and SHIN in game 2, as they were able to embrace their main races, of course. But I wasn't quite expecting their greed. We saw that SHIN went 2-base Roach. We saw that Nightmare was stuck on 1 base for a very long time as well. And we had very limited vision. Very limited scouting. Limited reactions as a result of that. And they got shut down. Got shut down in the end. And now we find ourselves in game number 3, potentially the final game of the series. Remember, it's the best of 5. ByuN and Solar need one más. They need 1 more game to claim the series. Let's go. From here, we're collapsing in. Once again, it is going to be 3-rack stim out of ByuN. Same build every single game with Brood War. Just 3-rack stim. It's a solid build. It often kills. Now, last game, Solar, he didn't really commit with the sim timing. He reinforced a little bit. It was mainly ByuN posturing, and it was Solar being greedy and rushing into 2-base Muta, and he got away with it. He got away with it. Now, I do not expect to see that same build here in game number 3. Solar, I expect to see either a Hydra timing with stim or like a Ling Flood with stim. I don't expect him to go into Muta play. I feel like that would be a bit of a misstep to try to be that cheeky 2 games in a row. As Nightmare this time does go for a Nexus first. Sorry, does go for a Gate Expand. A Gate Expand into Cybercore. A much greedier build this time by Nightmare, going into a Robo Opener. Okay. A greedier and also safer build. The Robo does allow for early Immortal production, early Observer, early Prism. Is typically a safer way to play. So you have lots of being hunted down. We have confirmation. Solar's going for the early Hydra Den. So with the early Den on the way, I imagine he's going to be hitting a Hydra all-in off of 3 bases alongside, off of 2 bases alongside ByuN. We're expecting a Hydra all-in. Technically, we could see Nightmare go for an early Bay. Wow, yeah, he's going for early Colossus. Okay. 2-base Colossus. Going into early Colossi. Armies are amassing. ByuN is moving out. ByuN, he does break out across the map. Again, he does hit that early sim timing. We can see that actually Solar's joining. Solar, he's going for the gold expansion. He's joining up. He does make a handful of Hydras just to defend, but for the most part, he's building up into a longer game. ByuN is still being active with his sim timing, of course, but ByuN has no intention to kill, and likewise, Solar is just being greedy behind this. So I do appreciate that we're not going for an all-in. ByuN kites well, shaves off some Zerglings, and it allows for Solar to drone up. So Solar's being quite greedy. Behind this, again, we're building up early Colossus production, being very, very safe, and we are embracing a longer game. Okay. We're calming things down. This time, there's no crazy Hydra timing coming that can end the game either. Instead, it's going to be the Spire out of... No, sorry, it is still Spire out of Solar. Hydra's into Muta play. Interesting. Very interesting here. SHIN and Nightmare, they're setting up back at home. They are setting up. There is a Lloyd for SHIN, a very, very late layer in comparison. Later layer. We have our initial Marine Hydra, but again, that Spire is a bit of a tell here. Solar, he is trying to pull a fast one over on his opponents. Hydras are revealed. We have that much less time to defend. I think an example of that here, of course, is lack of Blink Stalkers, lack of anti-air for Nightmare. He's very Colossus heavy. Nightmare is exposed. Likewise, I'd say the same about SHIN. Again, SHIN's lair is so late here. Scourge? Wait, what? Oh, okay. Scourge. That's a way to deal with Colossus. Very nice. Going Hydra Scourge. Okay, we're playing some StarCraft here. Okay. I mean, I feel like Mutas would have excelled regardless. They could have excelled, but no, we're getting a supportive Scourge. Remember, Colossus, they count as units in the air. Scourge, they completely shut them down. This is why in the PvZ meta, like Colossus play is it's just not very viable. It's just not viable against Brood War Zerg due to the Scourge. No, Nightmare's moving in. He's gonna find out the hard way. Remember, Nightmare, he's less experienced with Brood War, with Evo. Colossus moving in. Very nice force fields, catching out a good chunk of Hydras. Hydras are going down, Ling's coming from behind. Scourge are getting ready for a flank. They're collapsing in. The Scourge, he moves in. He gets one. Yeah, he gets one. He gets two. Ooh, no, barely not. He only gets one. The Colossus, they're so low. You can see how low they are. They're barely standing. Again, just one or two more Scourge would have been enough. As we have more Scourge on the way. And 12 more Scourge. That's still purely Ling here out of SHIN. Is SHIN going Ling Ultra? Now this feels too greedy. It means that he can't really support his teammate for so long until Hive Tech. Until Ultras. Meanwhile, it's going to be by a tank. Bit of a slower style here from ByuN and Solar, building up lurkers, building up tanks. Not so sure there's much pushing power here. Tanks do bully. And they bully back. Oof. Catching out one of the expansions. There's that Ultra Cabinet, as you mentioned. Again, SHIN is trying to go Ling into Ultra Tech. He's heading in that direction. He's almost there. SHIN still needs a little bit more time, though. Does he have that time? Oof. Oh, God, the punish. Yeah, the punish is real. Oh, the Scourge, he gets one. Ooh, he just the one. Just the one. Nice control there by Nightmare, saving the Colossus. A little bit premature there out of Solar, a little bit impatient. Meanwhile, we have the mech transition out of ByuN. Switching into mech, slowly pushing forward. And the Ultra Cabinet is still finishing. Tanks just bully the ground army, massive minefields being set up. ByuN is pushing. Pushing out at the same time as SHIN going for a massive Ling run by and runs into all the Hydras. This does at least buy time. Tries to at least. It tries to buy time. There are still so many tanks though. Tank line is solid. Ling's here to wreak havoc. Cashing out some SCVs, not bad. SCV's going down, Prism moves in. The aggression continues. SHIN and Nightmare, they're holding their own. They're harassing nicely and Ultra production has begun. SHIN is making it. He's getting into his Ultras. He just needs a little bit more time. Oh, no! Needs a little bit more time. Nightmare getting punished once again. So far, there are 2 Ultras. It's going to be 5. Still not there yet. It's going to be 5 Ultras. ByuN and Solar, they're gaining ground. And we'll see how the Ultras fare. They have kindness waiting. Oh god, they're being flicked down. Jeez. Yeah, first Ultra does fall. Ultras are trickling in. Nice Microbo Shrouds though. They're coming for a massive flank. Microbo Shroud does help. We do kite outside of range though, and the Ultras are going down one after the other. There's 2 Ultras left. Down to 2. Nice fungal. The Hydras are going down. Can they do it? Shin. Down to 1 Ultra. Oh god. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. Massive overextension. The Hydra, they still step forward. They punish the Ultras, the Immortals, and the Colossus. Storm is done. But Storm was a non-factor. Had Templar they couldn't engage. No Storms. Solo he breaks through the center. Solito, baby, solito. Ah. Yeah, the Lurkers are set up as well. Massive Lurker shots going off. Storm is coming in. Decent Storm on the Hydras. But that's 3 layers of Storms. And 1 more Storm on the Lurkers. That was the final Storm. Again, we were just a little bit too wasteful with those Storms. Decent Fungal, but there's no combination. No Fungal Storm combo. Not like this. And Solar, he's so close to breaking through. Yeah, Solar breaks down the center expansion. ByuN coming in from the right hand side. Tanks are sieged up. Vultures are going for the run by. Oh, trying to force friendly fire. Trying to. Ah. As hatcheries are going down. Here comes the anti-air. Hydras respond. Vultures they set up in the mineral line. That's a little High Templar. That's a little Templar, but limited Storms. Dalsan 1. Storms are good. Storms are good, but they need more than that. Yeah, we need more than a couple of Storms. Oof. Neural is denied. So 1 Storm left. Uno más, papi, uno más. Not even. He needs more time. Yeah, without the Storm, there's no defense. There is no defense. At the end of the day, here we do see SHIN and Nightmare. They have been broken, losing the center bases, losing their naturals. GG gets called, and ByuN and Solar, they will claim the series 3-0, becoming the StarCraft Evolution League Doubles #1 champion. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ByuN and Solar that will claim the series 3-0, and thankfully I will say that here we got to see a little bit more back and forth, a little bit more mid-game specifically. I don't know if I would say back and forth. For the most part, it was SHIN being greedy. It was SHIN cutting corners, being greedy, rushing into Ultra Tech, but in doing so we still saw them being punished and struggling to maintain themselves. In the end, the Ultras did arrive. We still saw Microbial Shroud play as well, but it wasn't quite enough. In the end, they were still losing bases, still losing mineral lines. We saw that the mass Hydra play out of Solar still proved to be a little bit too much. The mix transition out of ByuN as well being very, very efficient, and they did break through. Did overwhelm. GG, well played. Really fun to see some Scourge come into play. This is the reason why Colossus are not viable against Brood War Zerg, is the Scourge do shut them down. They shut them down pretty hard and pretty fast. Quite hard and quite fast. And with that, GG. With that, GG, well played. Congratulations to ByuN and Solar. And a shout out to SHIN and Nightmare. I was not expecting SHIN and Nightmare to make it this far in the tournaments. As I mentioned before, Nightmare is very inexperienced when it comes to StarCraft Evolution. So really cool to see him holding his own at times and making some of these games a little bit closer as well. Able to, yeah, pair quite nicely with SHIN. It's also really cool to see kind of like certain pairings between players. Like ByuN and Solar are good friends, of course. SHIN and Nightmare, I haven't seen them play together before, and seeing them here, it was nice. It was nice to see, and I do hope to see more of them in the future, of course. Do hope to see more. When it comes to this tournament, I believe that the SEL Doubles are going to become a monthly tournament, so on a monthly basis we should be seeing this a little bit more regularly, and we should be seeing the #2 edition coming up around the corner as well. I believe uThermal paired up with Diego this time, with Kelleter. So a new teammate there for uThermal. But otherwise, GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be wrapping up. I do apologize for going live a little bit late today. That we did have a bit of a messy start, and likewise, our internet went down this morning as well. It was just a really rough day for StarCraft. This morning, we had we didn't get to finish the finals for Kofa Giants Cup because the internet did die on us, so we have to reschedule that to next week. We're going to be casting that alongside the LATAM tournament for Kofa Giants Cup as well. StarCraft Evolution went live a little bit later as well, as I was waiting for a call that never actually came. So It's a bit of a shame. I was waiting for a phone call, didn't actually arrive, so with that, we are going to be wrapping up with StarCraft Evolution. Tomorrow we're going to be live with RSL. We have the rival StarCraft League that is going to be tomorrow at midday, and we have the GSL qualifiers tomorrow evening as well. It's going to be a very intense day of StarCraft. We have Picasso Cup on Wednesday, more RSL qualifiers in the evening. We have more StarCraft Evolution, the podcast, TLMC, the TLMC finalist broadcast, alongside Universe Cup and Tuna Cup as well. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. GG, well played. Once again, just to reiterate, next week we should be able to wrap up the finals of Code for Giants Cup. Unfortunately, we just didn't quite have them. Oh, sorry, I should say, unfortunately, the internet just was unstable this morning, so we didn't quite finish the broadcast. Should be able to wrap it up next week. Likewise, next week we have the return of Kung Fu Cup, Tuna Cup as well. This week it's mainly all about the qualifiers, GSL qualifiers, RSL qualifiers. All the qualifiers are going to be this week. Bearing in mind that the GSL broadcast is going to be on Soup. It's not going to be here on Twitch. It's going to be on Soup. We will have a rebroadcast on Twitch at a later time, at a later date. Most likely Saturday morning. I will just reschedule that into the morning. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be wrapping up here for the evening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some RSL and GSL qualifiers. See you tomorrow. See you next time. Ciao, bye, ciao. See you next time.